Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to Good Morning Kenya on this beautiful Tuesday of 4th of March 2025. We're glad that once again you are also up and early with us on this program. It's a beautiful one. So today, before I continue, I have a question to all of you. Vivian, you have a phone. All of us have phones, right?
Yes, we do.
Mike and Ray.
Yes.
So, where do deleted photos go to? Even after deleting them from recently deleted. Where do they go?
Oh.
Does that concern you?
Nothing ever leaves.
does.
Nothing is ever deleted. Don't ever lie to yourself that it does.
So where do they go to? And,
Cloud computing, my friend.
and why is it that we can't retrieve them from there?
Because there's, okay. The long and short is that whatever platform that you are on, yes, they have to have their backup for data. You may not have it on your device, but the server, backroom, has all that details. That's why we say when you go to the dark web, everything can be found, right?
Yeah.
So there's always a backup to a backup.
That's true.
Yes, so nothing is ever truly deleted. That's why
Yeah.
you're told to be careful of your digital footprint.
Yeah.
So that's
It's
why
quite scary.
I've been wondering, where Control Alt Delete, and you can never find them?
Yeah.
In the next 5 years?
Not even recovery process will help you.
Will help you find them after you do that.
So be careful, Vivian. I know.
It's the same question I would ask you. It's the same question I would ask you. Why do we have data recovery centers? It is possible.
It is possible.
Yes.
Okay, great. So it means we are all alert. All right.
Yes.
Asante sana. My name is Victor Lo. At exactly 7 a.m., we'll be talking about people and politics. And today, Francis Mongange, who is a deputy governor of Machakos, will be joining me on set, as well as Dr. Peter Mbai, who is a leadership and a governance expert. Remember, he was working at the government delivery unit sometimes back until he exited. So he'll be joining me here. Today, I want to talk about leadership and integrity based on what we are seeing. Chapter 6 of the Constitution. This is based on what happened over the weekend. A few months back, the president declared that there will be no more public harambes, but what we saw over the weekend, let's take a look at what leadership and integrity is all about. That is coming up at 7. You're well?
I'm very well,
Great.
thank you, Victor. It's a pleasure to be here on Good Morning Kenya, just to get to inform the nation, you know, on different matters. And it is just a day after a very daunting report from the Auditor General's office, you know, where, you know, the matters to do with SHA. And it is said that it is neither here nor there when it comes to knowing exactly who the owners of SHA are. Like, it is neither owned by the neither owned nor controlled by the government. I think that's quite alarming. Yeah. So when you talk about integrity, Victor, I hope you'll also try and bring that up so that we just get to see where we are exactly. Now, aside from that, today being a Tuesday, it is Health Tuesday, and we will be having Onesimus Gedaiga with us, who is a clinician and a dental health provider. We'll be talking about dental health and hygiene. That is, will be coming up at exactly 9 a.m. You want to stay tuned for that. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Vivian and team and everyone who is watching KBC. Always a pleasure to have you on board. My name is Mike Migwe, and you can be part of the conversations happening here on Good Morning Kenya. We are at KBC Channel 1 on all our social media platforms. Before I hand you over to Ray, let me give you a quote by Albert Einstein. Learn from yesterday, live for today, hope for tomorrow. The important thing is not to stop questioning. Learn from yesterday, live for today, hope for tomorrow. The important thing is not to stop questioning. Good morning, Ray.
Good morning to you, and we start off on that note that Vivian has set us on, and it's about your health matters. Now, As introduced, I'm Regina Manyara. Now let's bring you up to speed, and we start on that particular note where the Auditor General Nancy Gathongo has made damning revelations that the 104 billion shillings Social Health Authority system carrying Kenyans' health data is controlled by private individuals and not the government. The Controller of Budget, Nyakango, has further confirmed that her office does not have control of the Social Health Insurance Fund.
As Kenyans and leaders continue to decry lapses in the Social Health Insurance Fund, the Auditor General has released a report showing that the Healthcare Information Technology Digitization System that cost taxpayers a whopping 104.8 billion shillings is under control of private investors and not the government. According to the Auditor General's report on National Government Funds 2023-2024, the consortium in control would charge fees from member contributions to Social Health Authority, claims from health facilities, and charge for the track and trace solution at a rate of 2.5%, 5%, and 1.5% respectively for 10 years, resulting in projected revenues of 111 billion shillings. The Office of Auditor General says the 5% deduction from claims made by health facilities in effect increases the healthcare cost indicative of service charge of 5% to citizens every time they access healthcare services. The report further highlighted the lack of details on signatories to the escrow account that the funds are to be transferred to daily or weekly. The damning report further indicates the contract signed between the government and the private investors bars the government or any other person from employing alternative systems. While flagging several breaches to the law in the contract, the Auditor General said some 7 billion shillings set aside for training, support and customer education cost, but the number of healthcare workers to be trained on the system and the mode of training to arrive at the cost was not disclosed in the contract agreement. The contract signed also requires any rising dispute on SHA be resolved by arbitration under the rules of London Court of International Arbitration instead of the Public Procurement Administrative Review Board as per Section 28(1) of the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act. The Controller of Budget also disclosed that her office could not access the Social Health Insurance Fund like the rest of government funds.
There is a lot of money that does not pass through the COB. And the housing fund, the SHIF, like you have seen, the railway development fund, the petroleum levy, all these funds are operated outside the consolidated fund and therefore not part of what I approve.
If you carefully listened to what the Controller of Budget said, and I'm sure you're wondering why I have my blazer on, is that sometimes some things give you those chills and you decide to do so. So not only are we talking about the monies paid under SHA, but also the petroleum levy, that this is not within her purview. And more revelations from the Controller of Budget. She says that, or rather she has warned that the increasing expenditure on public debt risks crippling key government projects. Now, she noted that on the 1st of December 2024, the public debt stock was at 10.9 trillion shillings, with the debt ceiling surpassed to above 65.7% of gross domestic product. Dr. Nyakango advised the government to ensure project readiness before borrowing to avoid premature debt commitments. Additionally, the Controller of Budget has expressed concern over the 1.3 trillion shillings exchequer withdrawals, which she claims were done outside the automated system.
National Assembly's Liaisons Committee to give insights on Treasury's proposed medium-term debt strategy. The Controller of Budget, Dr. Margaret Nyakango, faulted trends in domestic borrowing, terming it a drawback on the country's debt management strategy.
In the last financial year, the one that we are now using as a baseline to plan forward, we found out that a lot of debt was domestic and the rates were a lot higher than even for external debt, especially where the shilling was strong, and so it was cheaper to borrow externally.
Clearly you are saying that that trajectory is not favorable to us, because if we do not adopt a sustainable debt management system, we will not be able to partake development initiatives.
If we continue taking domestic debt under those rates, definitely it is going to be harmful to the economy because it crowds out the businesses borrowing within the country.
The COB also raised concern on the high interest rates that surpass the principal amount borrowed.
For shorter and shorter durations, again we are saying the shorter the borrowing time, the more the pressure on the cash flows.
Is there a possibility for me to see a debt-free Kenya in my lifetime?
I cannot promise you that. And it's not even a good thing to be debt-free. But if you borrow and put what you borrow into productive sectors of the economy, it is self-balancing. Ultimately, you will find that you require less and less of the debt. So, even if you will not go down to zero, you will have what we call a sustainable debt, which will leave space for future generations to borrow. Right now, where we are, it's like we have borrowed for all the generations that are coming.
On debt management, the Controller of Budget proposed that Parliament advises Treasury to convert short-term loans to long-term, Treasury to link loans to projects to avert diversion of funds, broaden revenue base, transparency in loan contracts and public disclosure, among others. Reacting to a report that indicated irregular exchequer withdrawals of 1.3 trillion shillings, the Controller of Budget revealed that the requisition was done manually instead of an automated system which links the Central Bank of Kenya, Treasury and the Office of the Control of Budget. While she indicated that she oversees both withdrawals, Dr. Nyakango raised concern on the use of manual, yet there is a system for transparency.
Withdrawal of 1.3 trillion in 7 months, and they were withdrawing it manually. So, what is your take on that?
The Treasury has been operating certain aspects of the exchequers outside that automated system. So what we saw as the 1.3 trillion are the exchequers that they have been requisitioning outside the automated system. So I do both. I do both the manual and the automated. But my question was then, if we have the automated system, why are we still requisitioning manually?
The committee is currently making considerations on the budget policy statement.
And I'm sure you've come across a rejoinder by National Treasury ensuring, or rather trying to reinstate its stand when it comes to matters of transparency and accountability, arguing that no monies were squandered or rather, withdrawn illegally. But that's a good question that I'm sure Victor is going to be tackling when you look at matters integrity. If the National Treasury does operate through an e-platform, not even just an e-platform, an automated platform, why the need to do some transactions on the side through the manual system? That's a question that a majority are asking, and that's one of the developing and trending stories that we're seeing in the country. We'll continue keeping tabs on that one. Now to the courts. A chief magistrate court in Milimani, Nairobi, on Monday allowed the police to hold 2 suspects allegedly involved in the murder of British national whose body was discovered after arriving in the country for a business conference. The prosecution informed the court that the body of Campbell Scott, age 58, was found in a thicket in Makongo Forest, Machakos County on February 22nd, 2025, just days after he was last seen alive. Our court reporter Ruth Omboy has the details.
According to the Director of Public Prosecution, the two young men, Alex Mutua Kithuka and Albanas Mutinda Nzioki, were arrested after an investigation linked them to the death of the British National Campbell's Court.
Uchunguzi wa kwanza unaonyeshana kwamba yule marehemu was taken to pipeline area, alipelekwa pipeline into a house belonging to the first respondent kwa nyumba ya mshukiwa wa kwanza.
The court was informed that preliminary investigation indicates Court was taken to Kithuka's house in Pipeline, Nairobi, where he is believed to have been murdered. The court was further told that there were several attempts to withdraw money from the deceased's accounts in Nairobi, Voi, and Mombasa.
And by this time, it was established that the first respondent na wakati huu mshukiwa wa kwanza had already moved out his belongings from the house in Pipeline. Walikuwa wameamisha vitu zako kutoka ile nyumba ilikuwa Pipeline.
The court was told that the bag containing Scott's body was discovered hidden in a shrub in the remote area of Mukoyoni, Machakos County. Scott, age 58, a senior director with data analytics company FICO, arrived in Kenya on February 16, 2025 for a 3-day workshop at the JW Marriott Hotel in Nairobi. Chief Magistrate Lucas Onyina has allowed the detention of the two suspects for 3 weeks to allow the completion of the investigations. Ruth Omboy for Good Morning, Kenya.
Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja has interdicted 2 senior county officers over the illegal garbage dumping incident near Steamer Plaza. Speaking before the Committee on Administration and Internal Security at County Hall, Sakaja condemned the act, stating that it violates the county policies and values.
The National Assembly Administration and Security Committee invited Nairobi County Governor Johnson Sakaja and the Inspector General of Police Douglas Kanja to explain specific actions taken on county officers involved in garbage dumping outside Kenya Power offices. The governor, while apologizing on behalf of the county for what he termed a barbaric act, also revealed 2 senior directors in charge of revenue collection had been interdicted.
And so on behalf of the staff, I apologize to the people of Kenya, to the people of Nairobi, to the residents and tenants and business people there. That should never have happened, and it will never happen under my watch. I will not allow that to happen again. So for interdicted officers, the documents are here within your package. I've interdicted 2 officers from the Revenue Department.
The Directorate of Criminal Investigation revealed 3 drivers involved in the dumping had been arrested and released on police bond, awaiting arraignment.
We were able to arrest the following persons. 1, Augustine Otieno Osore, who was a driver. Moses Gitari Kanywa, who was a driver. And Alice Okare Achami, the machine driver.
Governor Sakaja at the same time took issue with agencies of the national government refusing to pay land rates to counties. According to the governor, Kenya Power owes the county government of Nairobi 4.5 billion shillings, while the county owes Kenya Power 1.5 billion shillings.
Everybody must pay their fair share for us to have a clean city, for us to have a city of order, for us to have a city where we can provide services to our people. Everybody must pay their fair share. We have 256,063 parcels of land in this county, but only 50,000 people, 50,000 accounts are paying.
The dispute between the county government and Kenya Power will now be solved by Energy Cabinet Secretary Opiyo Wandayi and the county governor Johnson Sakaja.
So those who were interdicted, who were they? They were acting under whose orders? I think that's the question right now. We'll be keeping tabs on that particular development. Now, to still within the courts, is that former Kiambu County Governor Ferdinand Waitito suffered a major blow in his quest to secure freedom after being denied bail pending the hearing and determination of his sentencing appeal. In her ruling, High Court Judge Lucy Njuguna said the right to bail after conviction is not a constitutional requirement because the offender loses consent of innocent after conviction. Details of this in our Skills of Justice segment.
Ferdinand Waititu had sought bail, citing health challenges as one of the reasons as to why he needed to be outside prison, but was denied by Justice Lucy Njuguna.
On the question of ill health, it is right that the applicant's ill health does not constitute exceptional circumstances where medical facilities are available for prisoners and where the prison is equipped to take care of the ill health of the applicants, and where, if need arises, the prison's personnel may seek referral to other facilities outside the prison.
Waititu had further argued that the appeal will take a long time, but the court dismissed the sentiments, saying his appeal will be heard on a priority basis.
On the question of anticipated delay in the hearing of the appeal, I am aware that the record of appeal is now ready and it is complete. It therefore means that what is remaining is the admission of the appeal, and thereafter the appeal will be given a hearing date.
Babaya will now cool his heels at the Industrial Area Medium Prison, awaiting a review of the case on Tuesday, 18th March 2025. With Waititu's appeal dismissed on Monday, the big question pardons. What are the legal different backgrounds between former Samburu Governor Moses Leno Kulal and Ferdinand Waititu's corruption case? Elsewhere, Nairobi High Court has dismissed an application by the National Transport and Safety Authority Board to file a preliminary objection challenging the reappointment of its director. The board had argued that the matter was res judicata as it had already been litigated in a Kiambu Law Court. However, the Road Safety Association of Kenya, through lawyer Brian Uchola, argues that the two subjects in the two cases were different. In giving direction, Justice John Chigiti has directed NTSA to file its submissions to the main appeal within 14 days, in a case where the Road Safety Association of Kenya is challenging NTSA's board decision to reappoint its director. The matter will be mentioned on 20th May for further directions. Rose Wamboi for Good Morning, Kenya.
Now, as we shift into matters business, is that a section of grassroots leaders affiliated to the Orange Democratic Movement, ODM, in the coastal region have given Raila Odinga, former Prime Minister, a green light to collaborate with President William Ruto on national issues. We'll be keeping tabs on what is happening on the political scene. But now let's speak money matters, where Kenya has begun discussions with the International Monetary Fund, IMF, on a new lending facility under the Extended Fund Facility and Extended Credit Facility program. The talks come as Kenya's current program nears its expiration. This was revealed as Kenyan officials led by Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi and the IMF team led by International Monetary Fund's Deputy Division Chief Rebecca Sparkman.
Kenya has signaled its intent to unlock a new financial program with the International Monetary Fund once the current facility expires. Kenya has so far received $606.1 million, or 78 billion shillings, under the program that kicked off in April 2021 to support economic recovery from COVID-19 and reduce debt vulnerabilities. According to the National Treasury, the ongoing IMF mission will review the existing program while initiating discussions on future engagements.
This week, towards the end of the week, there will be another mission to take stock of the current program and to reflect on the future program. And therefore, as the Res Rep has observed, we think this will enable us to identify areas which may be weak.
It would also be good for us to hear from you where you'd see this going, and and perhaps if it will have implications on our conversations on a new program, so that everybody is aligned.
Mudavadi urged the IMF team to engage key stakeholders from the national and county governments, the judiciary, parliament, the private sector, civil society and faith-based organizations to ensure a comprehensive assessment.
A second set of eyes that looks at how, as a country, we've been operating, whether it is the revenue, governance framework, expenditures.
The latest evaluation by the IMF will focus on macroeconomic stability, fiscal governance, regulatory oversight, the rule of law, market regulations, and anti-money laundering policies.
The recommendations will be such that they'll be prioritized. They won't be 250 recommendations because no government can handle that. They'll be prioritized by the state function and they'll be sequenced over the medium term.
There could be consequential pieces of legislation that will then require amendments as a result of this exercise.
Now to a story that is making headlines, and I just want to share is the front page of one of the dailies that we're going to be perusing through. We're talking about the wheat crisis, where farmers and aggregators should deliver their wheat to the National Cereals and Produce Board starting Tuesday morning. Now, as Trevor Ngendo reports, the directive by Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe seeks to resolve a crisis that has seen farmers complain that they have 321,000 bags of unsold wheat.
Wheat farmers have been grappling with market challenges, and their frustration recently spilled into the streets. In Narok, growers staged protests decrying the lack of buyers for their wheat. During a meeting with various stakeholders, Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe directed wheat farmers and aggregators to immediately begin delivering their grain to the National Cereals and Produce Board, with payments to farmers set to be processed within 30 days of delivery.
Wheat held by aggregators, wheat held by farmers will be delivered to the National Cereals and Produce Board go-downs effective tomorrow morning. So we are presuming in that case then that in the next 2-3 days we would have cleared the entire lot.
Additionally, a memorandum of understanding has been signed that will see millers collecting wheat from the National Cereals and Produce Board and paying for the grain within 21 days.
An NCPB will ensure that the millers, as they collect the wheat, will also pay the farmer, will also pay the NCPB in good time to ensure that the farmer gets the money in the time that we have said.
Kagwe says the government is on the watch out for anyone who will attempt to deliver imported wheat to the National Cereals and Produce Board depots.
And we hope that as we go along, we will establish a system that is foolproof and that will be what we are going to use going forward.
Well, now that is part of our conversation tonight on The Shift, as we're looking at matters of agriculture returning to the soil. And the big question is, if we had these bags, 321,000 bags of wheat available locally, then why did 35 millers get the nod to import wheat? The 35 millers have been listed on one of the dailies that Victor is going to be perusing through at a time when farmers argue that millers are preferring to deal with cheap wheat imports at the cost of their local produce there, offering as little as 3,800 shillings for a bag of wheat. That is a 90 kg bag of wheat, despite the recommended price of 5,500 per 90 kg of grade 1 wheat and 5,200 for grade 2. This was an impasse, and the government moved in to clear, just saying that all farmers who have wheat within, their granaries and such and stores, to take it to the government mill there. But then the question is, who allowed the importation of wheat locally? A move that is running local farmers into losses. That's a developing story, and we are keeping tabs on it from the business desk, and you'll be reading more on this particular one as we sample the dailies here on Good Morning Kenya. That squarely takes us to sports, where former South African international Barney McCarthy has been appointed as the new head coach of Kenya's national football team, Harambee Stars, on a contract running until 2026 with the possibility of an extension based on performance. The 47-year-old McCarthy boasts as an illustrious coaching career, having served as first team coach at Manchester United between 2020 to 2024.
Following the resignation of Turkish tactician Engin Firat last year, the Football Kenya Federation has unveiled Barney McCarthy as the man to lead the national team in its quest to qualify for the 2026 FIFA World Cup, an achievement that will make Kenya only the second East African nation to reach the tournament.
Baada ya mazungumzo mengi na kujadiliana na wenzetu, tukaona ya kwamba McCarthy ana ule uzoefu na we believed very strongly as a team that he's the right person for this job. He's competent enough, has a proven track record. Ni mtu ambaye amejionyesha over the years ya kwamba amejitolea kufanya kazi katika zile klabu ambazo amewakilisha.
McCarthy's immediate assignment will be guiding Harambee Stars in their 2026 World Cup qualifying matches, starting with an away fixture against Gambia on the 17th of this month, followed by a home clash against Gabon 1 week later.
We want to win every point that's available to us. We will work hard. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's also not impossible, to win, because the quality of the players that we have to have a positive mindset, because if we start thinking that we can't beat Ivory Coast or this problem, no.
FKF has also confirmed key additions to McCarthy's coaching staff, including former South African goalkeeper Joseph Monib, who will serve as the goalkeeper trainer, and Cape Town Spurs assistant coach Vasily Manusakis, who joins as McCarthy's assistant coach.
I think he's the one to get more players to go and play out there so that we can participate in World Cup and Africa Cup.
We have the players, and also, as I said, he also need to work so closely with the local coaches to make sure that he comes up with a very competitive squad.
Francis Kimanzi, who has been serving as interim coach since December 2024 and led Kenya in the Mapinduzi Cup, will be part of the transition team to help McCarthy settle into his new role. Harambee Stars currently sit fourth in Group F with 5 points from 4 matches. Group leaders Ivory Coast tops the standings with 10 points, followed by Gabon with 9, Burundi with 7, Gambia and Seychelles, who are yet to register a point. Barney McCarthy's appointment not only makes him the first South African to lead the Kenya national football team, but also the 36th individual to take on the role since the team's inception in 1961. My name is Isaac Lemoka.
Well, that puts a couple matters in the headlines. Be sure to peruse our website, that is www.kbc.co.ke, for further details. Coming up next is People and Politics. You can be part of this particular conversation. Get us on X at KBC Channel 1. I'm Regina Manyara. Have a pleasant day ahead.
Pindi tunapowasha vifaa vyetu, tunapata fursa ya kutangamana na wasikilizaji wetu.
Karibu sana thĩinĩ wa tabarĩra ya Rwiga.
Tunapeperusha utangazaji uliobobea katika habari,
nĩ ũndũ wa macio na mangĩ maingĩ,
burudani,
nĩ harĩa tũkoragwo tũkĩigua nyĩmbo mwaki nyĩmbo hot,
na hamasisho la kiroho. Usiachwe nyuma. Jiunge nasi kwa safari ya kufana katika 99.5 FM.
Solo FM.
Do you have other advertising agency in the building?
Please wait a sec. Let me check out.
Okay.
I miss the days when you were still here.
Yeah, you're right.
Guess he hasn't told you about losing his job, right?
He didn't. When did he lose his job?
I found ourselves a place tonight and asked our former customers who are on good terms with us to come out.
Friday night again. Greetings in the name of the Most High Jah Rastafari. My good name is Marley Moses, the Positive Warrior, alongside...
Yes, sir, DJ D-Rage, the baddest. Each and every Wednesday from 10 p.m. on KBC Channel 1 TV.
Tunakuletea the biggest reggae party in 254 in a yard extra. Extra niceness of reggae music.
Extra dose of entertainment.
When the thing is nice, we
have to do it twice.
Good morning. Welcome back. Great. Thank you, Regina, for that. So it's time for us to get into the political arena. Let's fight it together as people. All right. Being the Tuesday, we talk about people and politics, and today is 4th of March, 2025. Welcome to the program. I really want to take a look at what is really happening on the front pages, of course, local dailies, with my guest in studio. That is Dr. Peter Mbai, who is a leadership and governance expert, who is prodigal son of Good Morning Kenya.
Thank you, Vika. Thank you for having me.
Karibu sana.
Thank you so much.
I don't know where you have been. Please tell us. People who've missed you, they've never seen you for close to 2 years now?
Well, sometime, you know.
Yes.
No, we have been up and down. I was here last, and then we were talking here.
Right.
Then I got a chance to go and implement what we have been talking here, because, you know, talking about policies, in leadership and governance, it's always very nice when you have a chance to actually do, to actually activate what is normally spoken.
Right.
Yeah. So I got that chance for a whole maybe 2.5 years, 3 years or so.
Yes.
To be in the government, the Kenya Kwanza government. I started off as a senior technical advisor in the Ministry of Trade, Investments and Industry, where we did a lot of things on trade, international, all the things about AFCFTA, this thing about making trade work in Africa. Remember, expanding the market, right? That was one. The issue of trade bilateral, you know, with other countries, to make sure the goods from Kenya, you know, have market across. That was number one. The second thing was investments. Remember, there was a report recently that in Kenya, the investments that came to Kenya for the last 2-3 years surpassed those that came for the entire Africa. Right from South Africa, right from Egypt, right from Nigeria, Kenya was topping in investments that came to Kenya. That's the work that we did. And number 3, industrialization. What is one of the key things that we did was the KIPES, the County Aggregation Industrial Parks. We launched 17 of them. Up to date, those are the ones that were being launched. We launched across the country. We were supposed to do 47. Then we were moved to the Ministry of Public Service, where we did reforms on NYS and Huduma Kenya and other things like that. And then we did, for the first time, we went to all the ministries asking them what they have done. Literally, we moved to every ministry asking them, what have you done? Tell us exactly tangible things. What are your achievements and what are you intending to do? For the first time in Kenya, for 23 ministries, we went and submitted the report to the president and the entire cabinet, seated there for 2 days in Naivasha, remember, that retreat. So that's what we have been doing. But then finally, it was not possible because there's something called, sometimes if you discover there are issues and you are not able to continue serving the best way you would want, then you just quit very peacefully and say, we meet another day. That's what happened. And then we are watching. We're on this other side now.
So you're a good dancer.
I mean,
what point when you leave the stage?
Let me tell you, Vic, when you see somebody with passion, when you see somebody with passion to work, and then you just discover you're not taken very seriously, it hurts. when you have, I'm one of those people who literally believed, coming all the way from, literally from 2018, we believed, I personally believed, that we are going to make this this government work for the people. That was the whole issue. And that's why when I got a chance myself, where I got a chance to work in those ministries, I did my best under the people we are working under. In my best capacity to make sure that this is what we promised as a government, and this is what we must deliver. I was personally. So when you do with all the vigor and energy, you discover then that you're not being taken very seriously by some, because they either fear you or they don't understand you or they think, you are shining and all that. Then it becomes impossible. It was very hurting. And then number two, there's no delivery, Vic, without an enabling political environment. Peace is very important. Peace and development, they go together. So at some point from June last year, the way politics was being handled in this country, it was not possible to do delivery. It's not possible. And I'll give you an example. There was a president, one of the former presidents, who did a lot of work in infrastructure in this country. But then, when he went and asked what happened during around the 2007-2008, he said, no, we don't want you here. Said, but I have done for you roads. Said, take the road and go away. Why? Because you do a lot of development, but the people are hurting. It's not possible to do development and delivery in a toxic political environment. I am an expert. You can listen to me, take it from me. I'm an expert on delivery. That's what I've done for the last 3 years, literally. And you can see, and delivery simply means moving things from plans to actions, and they can be done, they can be seen. So it's not possible. So I don't want to mess also my career with trying to do things that completely you promise people, they may not work. So the best thing is to say, if you are not able to work in a certain environment because of maybe issues internally, some issues, people begin thinking otherwise, and there's some kind of purge because of maybe where you come from. Okay. Then you just distance yourself, and so here I am. So anybody has a home. So if things don't work here, you go back and home. Try to plan afresh.
What is the general outlook, as we speak, from your own perspective? What is the general outlook of the country in terms of economic outlook? Are we doing well? What is the rate of success? What is the rate of uptake in terms of production, exports, delivery in different ministries? What is the general outlook?
General outlook, we had done very well until around last year. Things were looking up in a big way.
Right.
On investments, on trade, we had opened many markets, a lot of things, and general the economy. And let me tell you, Vic, when you say the general outlook on the general development of a country,
yes,
it depends on how people feel. It depends on the well-being, on how people feel, the perception. Do we feel hopeful? Do we feel we are going along well? And let me tell you, everything rises and falls on leadership. However much you want to push and say that we are making progress on anything, if people feel they are not being taken seriously, there is a lot of things they don't understand, and the management of leadership and politics is not as good as possible, then there is a harsh moment when people generally feel depressed. However much you try to do things economically and development-wise, if the people don't feel don't have a good feel effect, if the people don't feel that they are being treated well by their leaders, then development and the well-being just suffers. And you see the difference between last year and this year. People they have these two, because what has happened is that because of the way the leadership and politics have been managed from last year, there is a feeling that there is some depression. There is a feeling that people have not been taken seriously. And I can tell you this, for example, you don't go and tell some people from some regions, be happy, we are doing all this, but they feel, but there is a policy that came up, especially how you manage politics. It depends a lot on how the economy drives. It is automatic. You cannot hide that from there. It's a whole cycle.
Yeah.
Politics and development go hand in hand. Peace and security and development, they go hand in hand. So what is the general outlook? We live in this country. We'd wish the best for ourselves, but the problem is The issue of the policies and programs that we put in place are the ones that determine the direction the country is taking. Policies and programs and how well they're implemented.
We talked, you know, the government is so big on, you know, digital superhighway. Has the invention of digitalization and social media platforms enhanced growth and service delivery in the country from your own experience when you're there?
I'll tell you this. That was supposed to be one of the biggest planks, you know, to drive. And by the digital revolution was meant to be like, there was something has to be there to be driven by the digital. You know, something has to be there. The content has to be there for it to be driven by the digital. Digital is actually like its name is a superhighway. It's a highway, but to deliver something. So we must have something to be delivered by the superhighway. There must be content. There must be that which you want to deliver. Well, if it's opportunities for jobs, opportunities for business, opportunities for exposure, I mean, studies, scholarships, there has to be the content. The whole idea is, what are we delivering? What is it we have? Because the digital space is meant to drive something. It's meant to have something driven. Now, that has been created. So the whole idea is, and the whole trajectory of the whole establishment was, let's get what are we helping, for example, the young people with. Then we say the best way to do is a digital superhighway, is a digital revolution, which now will enable all these things to happen. Where you sit where you are, you can get opportunities, you know, from across the world, on jobs, on opportunities, on studies, on, you know, e-commerce, you know. People want to trade across the world. They can be able to have that right in the villages, right? Right in the villages, in the wards, in the villages.
What is the success rate?
But by the time we were there, the plans were very good. By late last year, the plans, I say the plans, because everything was on the trajectory. That's how we had planned things to move by the year 2027. Now, how they are currently and what is happening in Vic, maybe there's somebody else who can come and say that.
Very good. Hold it there. All right. Peter Mbai, Daktari, who is a leadership and governance expert. I'm still waiting for Francis Mwangangi, who is the Deputy Governor of Machakos, to join us shortly. He was on his way, but he's received a phone call to respond to something very urgently, but he'll be here nonetheless. Let me take you through the front page of the local dailies. On the front page of the Star newspaper, revealed major cover-up in fake papers inquiry. That is what is here revealed. Major cover-up in fake papers inquiry. That is also on the splash of the Star newspaper. You can take a look at that. Connected people, politicians, relatives survive purge. That is what is here. But still, there is an illustration of what they call a raw deal, where billions down the drain in stalled county projects. And this is, of course, Dr. Mbai, when you talk about government service delivery, GDS, this must have been one of the issues that probably you are working on. When billions down the drain installed county projects, of course, there is an illustration here where Nyandarua County has 681 million, Nakuru County 56.18 million shillings, Bomet is 314.9 million, Samburu 206 million shillings, Kakamega 7.24 billion shillings, Uasin Gishu 1.76 billion shillings, Meru, etc., etc., etc. That is what is on the front page of the Star newspaper. On the front page, what do you make of this? Let me just reveal. You talk of major cover-up in fake papers inquiry. Did you at any given point encounter this in government service delivery? Because now you want to do the vetting, you have to do a lot of, how do you do it? You know, you going through the system one by one to make sure that everything is well aligned. Did you encounter such kind of situations or scenarios?
Definitely. What happened is that the Public Service Commission released a report saying we have in excess of thousands of people with fake certificates. Now, these people are working every day. They are in government offices. They are the ones who are signing. They are signing documents. Remember, with fake certificates. They are signing off money every day. They are in charge of procurement deals in the ministries. And then 2 years later, because and it was on record, the president said that these people should leave office. But so many years later, these people are still working. Most of them are still working. Now, the report you are alluding to is actually Parliament. Parliament. It has not been, it's not been possible to get them out of the office. Now, those are the issues we are talking about integrity. So when people know other people can go and get jobs, because they are connected. Because one of the reasons that has made this difficult, because they belong to who is who. It's not easy for you it's not easy for a child of somebody, an ordinary Kenyan, to be employed in the first place with the fake papers. It's not possible.
Right.
You're subjected to the highest stringent whatever. It's the people who know someone who are able to make calls and they are employed without having substantial papers. So it has been there. For the last 2 years, people are still earning salaries because it has become very impossible. Now, if this is Parliamentary Service Commission, what do you mean? What do you expect of Public Service Commission? This is the Parliament. The headline there is talking mostly about Parliament. The stuff in Parliament. Now, what do you expect of public? Now, what happens? When people see these things happening, they give up. Slowly but surely. People just begin giving up on life generally. Yeah, because this is a Parliament. We have another like 10,000 whose papers are in doubt in the whole public.
Yes.
So, the action that was supposed to be taken has not been taken. Or rather, no report has come. Things are happening, dancing, calling people, and then we are told, okay, now because you don't know an embarrassment, can you quit quietly? What do you do? What about the money? What about the money that somebody, has been paid for 2, 3, 40, 20 years? Once we get it wrong, Victor, let me just say this. Once we get it wrong on the issues on processes and systems and structures, once we cannot have institutional ways of doing things, I can tell you what happens. People give up. The general population just give up. If we cannot have it right on the issues on respecting our processes and systems and institutions, get a system of, for example, of saying how can somebody join public service, and we follow that, I can tell you, people just give up slowly but surely, and we just eat ourselves. The country just fails. When you say about money being spent, money which has been misappropriated, Victor, I will tell you in one shell, because I've had the advantage of serving in the county government for 10 years, both in the executive of a county government and in the county assembly. I can tell you this. There are very weak systems and processes and structures in the counties, both county and the national government. Very weak systems of knowing how does money move, who gets money and why, who gets the contracts, what are the systems. What happens, and that's why you see every day, the Auditor General has been reduced to their own voice. Every time she's releasing reports. Every time but what happens to the reports? Because people know you release reports, somebody will be summoned, governors will be summoned in the Senate, anything will happen there, a lot of drama will happen there, then life continues. So what happens? People are watching and people are getting angry by the day. That is the problem, because you ask yourself, this is money, a lot of the taxpayers' money. And how do you get the tax? Mama Boga goes and buys milk, buys sugar. That is a tax, right? The money comes here. But where the money goes finally, you cannot trace it. Every day, Auditor General, it's so painful.
Okay.
Today talks about this, tomorrow talks about this. But the question is, what happens after that?
What happens after that is to welcome Deputy Governor of Machakos. Mheshimiwa Mwangangi, karibu.
Asante.
This is Nairobi. You are not known for this. A lot can happen within a split second in Nairobi, so we understand. Karibu sana.
Thank you.
We are talking about what is happening in the country, and privileged to have Dr. Peter Mbai. Dr. Peter Mbai served in the government service delivery system service. He's also leadership and governance expert. Today we want to talk about redefining leadership and what we have as far as doctrine is concerned. But first of all, as we usually do, taking through the front page of local dailies, revealed major cover-up in fake papers inquiry. Let's continue. On the front page, Ruto doublespeak. That's on the front page of the Standard. Ruto doublespeak. That's on the splash. Of course, it's well explained. Allow me to take you through it. President Ruto's stance on public fundraising has taken a curious turn. Months after banning harambes for state officers, he now leads multi-million shilling church donations, having recently pledged 120 billion shillings to a city church. As criticisms mount, his defense grows, insisting his contributions are a divine duty. That's on the front page of the Standard. Finally, on the front page of the Daily Nation, 124 billion shillings wheat imports sink farmers into losses. That is what is here. Some of the millers are now owned by tycoons who have been in the industry for decades. That is on the front page of the Daily Nation. Of course, Agriculture Minister Mutahi Kagwe is on this to make sure that everything is well streamlined. DG, we're just talking about the issue that's at hand. And a quick question to you. Before I come to the front page of the dailies, what is your doctrine of leadership, in as far as leadership is concerned? How do you define leadership? Being in that space for quite some time, what is the style of leadership? And what do Kenyans really want? What keeps you awake at night that, as a leader, this is what you think is good, this is what is godly, and this is what is required by law? So what is your doctrine of leadership?
Just putting people first, simply. If whether elected or not elected, you are serving in any public office.
Yes.
Whether you are in private or in a public, you put people first. We say nothing for me without me.
Nothing for me?
Without me.
Without me.
Nothing for us without us. So don't purport to know where my shoe pinches. It is the shoe wearer. And that is what is so about leadership. If you consider people, you will involve them in your decision making. One of the major challenges we have in this country is decision making. Because people tend to think, to sit somewhere and they think this is what people want.
Yes.
Simply because I've been elected here as a deputy governor, as an MCA, as who, you tend to think this is what is good for the people. No, involve them, consult them. Let public participation have meaning and ensure that input is there. As I was walking in, and I'm sorry for walking in some minutes after the show had started, it is as usual the business in Nairobi.
Yeah.
The challenges of our roads. You know, Victor, as I was walking in, you were talking about fakeness in our education system. That thing is very dangerous. Other than getting the wrong people, and it boils down to leadership. Because some of these people, as Professor is saying, is as a result of somebody powerful somewhere trying to call and say, take this, this has been my aid, this was my political, this and that. So in this case, you will know the importance of this fakeness in education when you get out of this country, out there. You will know your system is the most useless. It has been reduced to nothing.
Okay.
So it's a very dangerous thing.
Yes.
And it again boils down to leadership.
Let's take a quick break. Then I circle back with you. Allow me to do that.
Okay.
Shortly after this. Stay with us.
Ima na wendo mwingi tugikuthokia Embu County, the land of opportunities. Kambunene ya Ngemi FM mushi worata.
Twegagure na kamwetha kama viumeto. Muroro kiande tukunye maire na murori tuthie thokore besa mevukore cha
manje makiyara uranje mule cietu cia thitima na ronje ruwathagana nyamu cia kithaka igitugemeria bururi wetu wa mbere Embu County. Ngemi FM tikomuno tukianirira na mugambo munene eno ni
Ngemi FM musie wa urata.
Ngemi FM 103.5.
Two and a half years after key policies were planted, is Kenya reaping the benefits?
Soko watu wanalia, hawana pesa. Sasa unabidi tu unarudi na kitu yako yenye umepeleka huko kwa soko.
Can the country return to the soil and harness its agricultural potential for food security?
Sababu ukiangalia mazao hakuna. Hata hii kilimo hii matunda ni ya siku moja tu.
Join us on Tuesday at 9 p.m. as you speak to agriculture peers Dr. Kiprono Rono on government's progress in filling the country's bread basket.
The Shift, Tuesday at 9 p.m. on KBC Channel 1.
Friday night again. Greetings in the name of the Most High Jah Rastafari. My good name is Marley Moses, the positive warrior, alongside.
Yes, sir, DJ D-Rage, the baddest. Each and every Wednesday from 10 p.m. on KBC Channel 1 TV.
Tunakuletea the biggest reggae party in 254 in a yard extra. Extra niceness of reggae music.
Extra dose of entertainment.
When the thing is nice,
we have to do it twice.
Welcome back. Dr. Peter Mbai, who is a leadership and governance expert. He's been in different leadership positions in the country. And Francis Mwangangi, Honorable, who is a Deputy Governor of Machakos County. Today we are talking about leadership and integrity and what really defines leadership. What do Kenyans really want? DG, I cut you short before I took a break. Continue with your point.
So, leadership, you must involve, carry along with the people that you serve, the people that you lead. And I was making a point that the fact that I'm a deputy governor does not give me absolute authority to decide on behalf of the people whom I might be leading. It is good you involve them so that you get solutions together, you secure ownership of almost everyone, at least majority, because we are in a democratic society, and then you carry along aspirations of the majority, if not everybody. To me, that is leadership. If we put our people first and we are sincere, now the issue of integrity. That is why I'm talking about sincerity. If you are sincere in what you agree with people, you go ahead and ensure that is implemented in the right manner, then you are exercising the right quality of leadership. Let me give an example to viewers. This country had a document called Vision 2030.
Yes.
Successive regimes, since that document came to be, have been using that document to pinpoint specific projects that were used to siphon a lot of monies from the public coffers. We are saying we are implementing this, but when you look at it keenly, the cost is almost 4 times the issue of costs. And then that can be supported by successive Auditor General's report. And even something that brought outcry when we were doing our SGR and a lot of many things. So that, in my view, is not leadership. When I'm using County Integrated Development Plan to implement projects requested for by the people, but instead of implementing that, I use it to save on money from public coffers in the name of implementing a County Integrated Development Plan. So leadership is sincerity in carrying the aspirations of the people you serve along with you. Yes.
Doctor, do you think, based on what you said, that is basically chapter 6 of our constitution, right? But the aspiration and sincerity is what is the pulse of the country in as far as that is concerned? Are Kenyans feeling the sincerity from the leaders that they elected?
Of course, they are not. And we are in a very bad situation. And sometimes I feel, from where I've gone through, the years I've served and what I know about myself, I feel like it's good for some of us as leaders to apologize to Kenyans. It's good to apologize. It's good to apologize to Kenyans, Victor. And to say, this is not what we had planned. This is not what ought to have happened. This is not what we ought to be subjected Kenyans at a time like this. Leadership and integrity is about getting a good vision, plan it well, then move people towards that goal, but with a lot of honesty, servant leadership, accountability, being above, being selfless, looking at the needs of the people more than your personal needs. But just today, Victor, we are not talking about tomorrow. I don't know what will happen tomorrow or yesterday. Just today, you're talking about, you're telling farmers to farm, then already the same people, you are approving billions of wheat, worth of wheat, to come and compete with your farmers. Just today, Victor, we are talking about SHA, Auditor General, who is being paid is a state officer, saying that the system is actually in the hands of private people. I'm asking, just today you are saying over thousands of people are earning money, very senior people from governors, deputy governors, staff. They're earning money with fake titles, fake degrees, yet we are telling our kids to go to school just today. So the question is, we are already in a crisis. The people watching us, and some of us who contributed and said we are going to make change, some people, because I cannot run away from that, that I was part of the people who actually told people we are going to bring change in Kenya Kwanza. We feel ashamed, extremely pained, extremely hurtful. And I want to say, on behalf of the people who said let's push for this government, some of us we want to feel like we want to apologize and say we are extremely sorry. This is not the headlines we wanted to happen 3 years after the government took power. It is just a mess. And we're asking a question, Victor. Everything rises and falls on leadership. I can tell you this, everything, all what we are saying here is just a matter of, we want to move forward, but there is so much vested interest by the people who ought to protect the people. So much vested interest. You are the father up there. You are supposed to divide milk and bread to all the kids. Let the farmers get fair money for their wheat, right? Let the people get proper medical care. Let us get the kids who go to school, let them get the papers, let them get jobs. But who is the ones controlling private interest. You are the father, but you want to eat with the kids.
How do we redefine that today, moving forward? Because you're putting it so well. But the question is, the Wanjiku is becoming more anxious and more impatient.
Let me tell that in a nutshell now. This is what I want to say. 1 minute. The problem that we have today, let me define it very well, because when we talk about leadership and governance, leadership is moving people towards a vision.
Yes.
Governance is what makes it possible. How? Systems, processes, structures. The problem in Africa, Vic, leaders don't want to put systems and processes and structures, because when they put them, they'll be caught by them. They want things to flow just like that. No systems, no structures, no nothing. For example, why is there not a rule or a law or anything, cabinet member or something, talking about imports? You cannot be telling farmers to continue farming in Narok and all over the world, the country, and then you are importing wheat, for example. How do you do it? Those are the questions we're asking here. So when you ask about the way forward, we don't respect systems and processes, and that's the biggest problem in Africa. We want to just play around, looking at the next election, not the next generation. We want to look for our own prosperity, not the prosperity of the nation. This is the biggest problem. Now you're asking a very difficult question. What do we do going forward? And this is the biggest problem we have.
The issue of leadership, Victor, whatever we say here, we can talk about papers, talk about CIDP, talk about strategic plans, talk about launching everything that is being launched every day in this country. If we cannot fix the issue of leadership, if we cannot have leaders with integrity, just a bit, not so much, don't come and be near Jesus Christ here. Just have some basic humanity, that you have been given an opportunity to serve other people. You can only eat one meal. You can only live in one car. You can only have one house. Why do you want 20? Why do you want to amass everything? The problem is this, the issue of leadership, integrity, until we get people, 2 people, 3 people, like Nelson Mandela, people who just say, it's not about me, it's about the people. This opportunity have been given by God to serve for this time. I will also die one day. And do your best to empower people so that you can leave a legacy. Until we get there, Victor, we are going to continue in this cycle of eating each ourselves. We are going to be eating ourselves every day here. People get to power, you amass everything, then people cry every day. There's going to be a vicious cycle. It's so painful today that we have people in power who can change the lives of people, but they are not doing that. Because everybody is eating, including the leaders. Then people are going to die.
When you listen to him, Mheshimiwa, is Wanjiku becoming more resilient to the pressure that she is feeling from the leaders based on what is happening in the country?
The answer is yes. Because when you have an agency like SHA that is receiving billions of shillings, in fact almost 4 times what NHIF was receiving, and you can't account for that money, the system is not in the hands of the government. What do you call that? It's a fraud.
That's according to the Auditor General.
Yes. No, simply that is fraud. A system that was designed to serve certain purpose. I was in this forum, seated right where I'm seated, Victor, and I said, this is a fraud from day one. Why?
I remember.
The people leading it are people who have been taken to court as a result of defrauding NHIF. These are people who are leading clinics, if you remember. It is in public knowledge. It is in public record. Everybody knows. But simply because they are well connected today, you can see they are doing what they are doing. Wanjiku is bearing the results of our action. Action of waking up at 6 a.m. and voting in the leadership that we have, whether it is at the county or at national level. But I can tell you, none, and I stand to be corrected, none of the KK administration's policy that is working, properly working. They took over a country that was well functioning, education-wise. Nowadays, if not professors, if not our students, almost everybody must go to the street to at least continue picketing, demonstrating for them to get their basic right. Which country on earth has developed without proper functioning education system? None, zero. Even talk of petro states, zero. You must put quality education at the center of transformation. So, Wanjiku is, you plant and then you get what you planted. And I think that is where we are. We have a devolution that started so well with President Uhuru Kenyatta and the then new constitution, 2010 constitution. We have a devolution today that is dying. Why? We have a central government that is doing literally that is being done by the county. In fact, I don't think there is need for these counties to exist. We have an administration that is setting up the county leadership to fail. Why?
That's a worrying, DJ, that's a worrying
yes, because if we are supposed to, we are talking about health.
Right.
When we are talking Shisha and the siphoning of billions, where is the Council of Governors? Where are the counties? Yet health is devolved. You see, we are talking about food security here, talking about billions. Wheat.
Yeah.
Who doesn't know who? Even you fly to this country, you will say agriculture is devolved. It's a county function. Yet we are talking about national government usurping powers that are supposed or rather functions that are supposed to be carried out by counties. So in this case, we have, I don't understand. There is so much that the central government is supposed to do, and as far as their mandate is concerned, and leave counties to thrive, make counties centers of development transformation. Are we doing that? No. We are behaving as though we are competing. It boils down, it starts and ends with leadership, period.
Leadership, then governance.
And then, of course, just to be frank, just in the newspapers you have read also, the same cancer goes to the county governments. Look at the money that's being said that is not available, again, from the Auditor General.
Yeah.
Okay? But by the time the Auditor General gets a report to say money has been missing, money has been misappropriated, you see now the same cancer goes to the counties because they can see what their big brothers are doing in Nairobi. So everybody is in a race to enrich themselves. I said I have served both in the executive and I can tell you the amount of money that is not banked in the counties, you'll be shocked. The amount of money collected from those people, women, sad, you know, parking, roads, it's not, now they are quiet. And let me tell you what happens, again, the issue of institutions, the institutions that are supposed to unearth, there is always something happening. You never see, a lot of money is lost. Revenue. People pay money in the counties. 47. They should be billionaires, but they are still holding out to say, give us more money in the county, in the national government. The counties were supposed to be centers of economic production revolution. They were supposed to make money. They were supposed to have productions. They were supposed to go and actually generate wealth, not to continue begging every day. But if you ask yourself 10 years later, okay, this is like 12th or 13th year of devolution, we should be seeing revenue increasing every year. Because the money that's getting from the national is not enough. It's supposed to spur economic development. Yeah. Now, we have a problem. Both in the national government and the county governments. Go and ask people on the ground, what exactly can you say out of this 40 billion since 2013 has come? What can we see for it? We have a problem. Let's not say just the national government. It's a problem also in the county government. And let me tell you, governance is exercised in two levels in Kenya. Governance and the president. You cannot run away. That is where you have the power of governing. You can govern. You have the power to put in structures and systems. But the question is, do we want to put them? Let me ask you, do we have a centralized system of procurement in the counties? We don't have. Some are using manual. Some are using requests for proposals, RFPs. Some of them, they are doing all manner of things. Go to any county and talk to contractors. They are crying tears. They are never paid on time. What do? You do cherry picking. When money comes, you know who is going to be paid and who is going to wait for another 2 years. We have a problem with the systems in this country. We have a problem. And do you know what's going to happen, Victor? We continue crying. But remember, people are watching. We either wait until Jesus comes back to save us from all this, or we take up, or we go to the streets and say, enough is enough.
That has to start from somewhere. From where I come from, they say that fish starts rotting from the head.
Can I tell you this? I say that again, and I'll repeat here. It is a principle of leadership. Leadership, everything rises and falls on leadership. It's about the person. Like, for example, I'll ask you a question. We were all seated clapping when the system said, we are aware, we have over 10,000 people with fake papers, and the order was done. We want them out. The question is, are they out? That's the question. Then what is going to happen? Now, it is possible. All these things cannot happen if the leadership is not aware. It is not possible.
So how do you draw the line, DG? Because IBEC is here, that is very important, and the national government, and you have meetings regularly to brainstorm and to take stock of what's happening. At what point do you think Wanjiku will say there is some feel of goodness from the top up to that lowest point of governance?
When Wanjiku will be receiving what he or she is supposed to get. Yes, in a proper manner. I differ slightly with Daktari.
Go ahead.
He has served for over 10 years within devolution and maybe national government. I'll tell him what he is doing is an excuse, period. If you hear anybody blaming counties of doing this or that, who has the DCI? Who has the ESCC? Who has the all benefits from the reports from Auditor General? Action needs to be taken. It is an excuse to say this is happening, this is happening, it boils down to leadership. We need action, period. If Mwangangi is a thief, he deserves to be in a committee, not enjoying freedom here. It is as simple as that. So issue of blaming governors, it is the issue of just generalizing so that we make it political and it ends there. And that is what we have done in major crises in this country. We start blaming that, we start blaming this, and we run away from what we are supposed to do. That is not... Is it the governors who are making the central government to do what they are doing in terms of usurping what is supposed to be done by counties? The fact that there is one or two governors misbehaving, does it mean every governor is misbehaving? Suppose that there is a governor who is perceived or is corrupt. Is it a reason enough not to take action? And we start blaming each other so that we make Kenyan people suffer and lose? That is an excuse. Whoever is supposed to hold us to account, he or she should do his work. It's not a question of just blaming. That this blaming game must come to an end and fix. Do what you are. Remember words of the gracious Lady Mother Teresa. Victor, you do your duty and I do mine, and together great things will happen. You see, let's not continue with this blame game. That is how Wajiko is going to lose. Okay? So, coming back to your sentiment, I think what needs to be done is let's have a leadership at national level that is focused on what they are supposed to do. I've heard from this administration, many of the leaders, they say, we went out and promised the country universal health coverage. That is very okay. But now that you are in power, if that is not your function as central government, call those who own that function, tell them, this is what we promised, this is our policy, we want it implemented this way. Okay? If it is agriculture, the same. Allow the counties to do what they are supposed to do and don't withhold the resources. Dr. is forgetting one thing, that the taxation regime at national level has meant some counties like Machakos, we have not increased even a single cent. I want to invite him into Machakos. When Governor Wavinya Deti took over as a governor, we had almost 222 M-Pesa pay bills. And it was collapsed to two. One for health, another one for the rest of the services. We have seen that collection goes. Come to Machakos. We don't interact with money. And anybody doing that, everybody knows it's criminal. So it's not like it is every governor in this country who is not doing anything. And when we are generalized like that, and we see what is happening at national level, it leaves us disappointed, some of us. Okay?
Yes, so Vic, what we are saying...
Is there hope?
Yeah.
I see we only have 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Is there hope?
Yeah, 1 minute. What we are saying, as we talk with the Mheshimiwa here, the common Mwananchi is asking themselves, all the auditor reports since 2013 about what is happening in the counties, for example, in the national government, who has been taken to court? You know, we can talk here and say, you know, what is happening. The Mwananchi is asking the taxpayer, all the reports that have been given, including this one that you are holding there, finally, who was taken to court? What happens? Things just get hushed, number one. Number two, you speak about agriculture being taken over by national government, you know, health being taken over by national government. We are on the 13th year of devolution. IBEC has been happening, is it how many times a year? IBEC has been happening at least annually. What steps have governors done so far to make sure they get back the powers that they have, the functions that they have? That's what Wajiko is asking. So we cannot continue complaining here as leaders in this.
So is there hope for Wajiko?
That's what I'm saying.
Time is running and 2027 is
that's
here.
That's what I'm saying.
Is becoming
we are talking here because it's good to talk.
Yeah.
I'm a product of devolution. That's something I love because even here we are seated is the county government.
Yes.
So we are saying, please, Wajiko cannot understand that we have been complaining for 13 years. What is this you have been talking about in national government? Why can't you go to court or international International Court of Justice or whatever Hague and get your functions, if that is what you take. Because continue complaining that national government, they took the health function. National government, they took the agriculture function. What are we doing? Wajiko doesn't want to see stories. They want to know.
Is it about policies?
You cannot keep on. Look here, you can. We already said this. We don't want to put systems and institutions. No? We don't want to respect institution and even the Schedule 4 of the Constitution, because there are some people who are benefiting from it up here. Yeah. But the question is, we want to see governors doing something, because they cannot continue complaining the same thing for 10 years, saying, the national government took up our functions. What are they doing to get back? Is there hope? Only if you can
let me ask you this question. So, is Wanjiku being fed on sincerity?
Wanjiku is being fed on some circus, some game, musical game of chairs. 1 year, year out. Year 3, year 4. It's unfortunate, and I can tell you, Wanjiku is a loser. That mama who goes to buy sugar and pays tax out of that woman, that there, boda who goes to pay, and 200 shillings, 100 shillings, and pays tax because of wearing that boda person. That is a person who is suffering as we come here to talk about.
So how do you change that? My last question to you, how do you change that?
Very simple. People have now to rise and have something called consciousness on their own, because leaders will not help them. I can tell you, it's a big problem. The people have to organize themselves and make their own decisions.
Mwangange will change.
Leaders the people have to rise up and demand change. It's not going to be possible.
He will change Machakos.
I think Victor, I think we respect...
I saw you on Sunday somewhere.
Yes.
You're a celebrity.
I don't know. But I think...
Go ahead.
One, let us respect institutionalism.
Yes.
Please...
for the sake of something delivered to Wanjiku.
Yes. Whenever I go to any forum like this, one thing, and I say it elsewhere, if I go to Rwanda or to any of these neighboring countries and I hear anybody touching on Kenya, I will defend this country like nobody's business. Anything I raise anywhere, it is for the good of the country.
Yeah.
When we talk of high taxation regime, it is affecting even those who are governing us at national level and even at county level. So we must challenge and will continue challenging these policies until they are made in such a way that the country is going to benefit as opposed to individuals. Let us put our people first, let us put our country first, and we want the best for this country. Not for some people to feel it is our time to eat and the likes. So going forward, on top of respecting and adhering to principles of institutionalism, I think it is also very important for leaders to ask themselves, myself included, why was I elected? Yeah. Am I doing and adhering to the expectations of the people who elected me to the position that I am in? We have a role to play. Those at the political arena and those others who are out here, professionals, academia, bishops, clergy, everybody. We have a role, all of us, to play, because all of us elected these governments, okay? And when I refer to governments, it's both with the two levels. So I agree with Dr. Let's not keep on complaining, but let's all come up with solutions and implement fully our constitution.
Thank you. Finally, you hosted former deputy governor on Sunday.
Deputy president.
What happened? You received him.
Some of us believe we elected a deputy president.
Okay.
Yes. We have and he was removed by people who can now not even go and address their constituents. Their stomachs, they were sorted at that time, but now the challenge and the masses. So what we are doing first and foremost is there's a cultural grouping that we were once part of. Our leaders, our spiritual leaders, and everybody have brought us together.
Which one is that?
The Ngema.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yes. So that we can trade together, we can take care of our economic welfare first, because it is very important. You know, part of the mountain does a lot of agriculture. The other part does a lot of business. So we can bring our people together and trade.
Politically speaking?
If that can produce something good. If any village is united, if any sub-location is united, if any location is united, if any sub-county is very well united,
yes.
If any region in this country is united and is one, the country is on the road of to becoming one. And that is what we are doing.
Okay, so
yes.
Just one question. What is the level of cooperation between Wiper and the party that is yet to be named by former Deputy President?
We are brothers and sisters now.
Vic, let me correct
you. I've heard that statement.
Vic, let me correct you a bit.
Okay.
The Honorable Rigathi Gachagua is not the impeached Deputy President and the former. The case is still in court. What happened is some monkey business. He is still the Deputy President, as far as we know. No. Listen, no. there is a case in court. No. Legally speaking, let me tell you something.
No.
Now let me ask you. Okay. What happens if the court declares that impeachment and everything was wrong, and he's said to be the Deputy President?
So we have two Deputy Presidents in the country.
Thank you. Now keep it there. That's what I'm saying. Go, hold on your horses. And I want to, please, and you can mention this to your colleagues in the media. Please kindly, when you refer to Honorable Rigathi Gachagua, just make sure, just know there's a case going on, and anything can happen. Okay, we have a very strong battalion of lawyers, and anything is possible. Let me answer your question the way you said. Let me tell you, this is what is going to happen. In a nutshell,
we are out of time.
In a nutshell, this is what is going to happen. The party that is coming up, the party that is coming up, led by Honorable Rigathi Gachagua, already as we speak, by the time it is launched in 2 weeks, all the people who are in UDA, about 6 million will move out, okay, and get to the new party. The new party is moving out from Mount Kenya. People have been associating Rigathi Gachagua with the Mount Kenya region. No, that's why you saw yesterday what's happening to Ukambani. The next thing will be to go to across the country.
Can you hold
that's the next.
Are you promising me to be here in the next 2 weeks?
I'll be here.
Thank you.
Victor, again,
thank you.
Let me tell you something. Just 1 second.
All right.
Regarding Gachagua, the fact that he was around, everything came to a standstill. I can tell you.
So there's so much that you didn't see.
In Machakos, you compare that with when the president came around, you will not believe.
And that is the next big thing, Victor.
Okay.
Keeping this lead.
Okay.
And that's the solution you were asking earlier.
Dr. Peter Mbai, thank you so much.
You have photos you can compare.
He's a leadership and governance expert. I will not finish this discussion. And Deputy Governor Machakos, but then I'll have to take a look at those photos, if it's true.
Just check.
Asante sana. Francis Mwangangi representing great people of Machakos. Asante sana for always gracing my show, gentlemen. We are taking a break and we come back. GMK continues, but on the other side of Radio. My name is Victor Lo. Have a good morning. Bye-bye.
Are you a talented artist? Or are you passionate about a topic you want to discuss? But money can be very hard to find for an upcoming artist. Don't worry, Studio Mashinani has got your back. Sign up on ajira.co.ke to book a session with your music and video producers across the country. Work on your music, jingles, spoken words, and even podcasts to realize your dream. All for free. Studio Mashinani, Radani Talent.
Do you have other advertising agency in the building?
Please wait a sec. Let me check out.
Okay.
I miss the days when you were still here.
Yeah, you're right.
Guess he hasn't told you about losing his job, right?
He didn't. When did he lose his job?
I found ourselves a place tonight and asked our former customers who are on good terms with us to come out.
Taifa Sauti ya Mkenya. Tunapatana tena kwenye Gumzo Pevu Jumanne hii maridadi kabisa kuangazia masuala ya wanawake na masuala mengine tu ambayo yanatuhusu kama taifa. Kwa hivyo tunakukaribisha ujiunge nasi katika mjadala huu ambao utakuwa tunaendelea hadi majira ya saa 3, na unaweza kuzungumza nasi kupitia mitandao yetu ya kijamii. Nenda pale Facebook KBC Radio Taifa Sauti ya Mkenya, vile vile KBC Channel 1, na vile vile kupitia mitandao yetu ya X utatupata pale, tukapate kujua unasema nini kuhusiana na mjadala wa leo. Na nilivyosema basi leo tunaangazia mustakabali wa wanawake, na mimi naitwa Dora Manya, mwenzangu upande wa pili Rashid Mwamkondo na Asante Victor kutoka KBC Channel 1. Na mtazamaji na msikilizaji, imekuwa ni safari ndefu sana katika kutimiza usawa wa kijinsia hapa nchini Kenya. Kwa sasa Kenya ina viongozi wanawake mbalimbali katika nyanja tofauti, huku usawa wa kijinsia bado ukiendelea kupiganiwa. Na miaka 30 tangu kongamano la kimataifa la wanawake kufanyika Beijing, tutakuwa tunaangalia basi ni yapi ambayo tumeweza kuwafikia na hatua ambazo tumeweza kupiga baada ya kongamano hilo la Beijing kule nchini China. Kongamano hilo, kumbuka mtazamaji na msikilizaji, lilinuia kuimarisha wanawake sio tu kiuchumi bali pia kijamii na vile vile kisiasa. Tangu wakati huo Kenya imepiga hatua katika kuhakikisha maendeleo ya wanawake hapa nchini kisiasa, na kwa mfano kumekuwa na wanawake ambao wamejaribu kuwania urais kama vile Bi Martha Karua, vile vile Bi Charity Ngilu na mwenda zake Profesa Wangari Maathai. Wiki iliyopita kwenye kipindi hiki tuliangazia masuala mbalimbali ya wanawake, na tunapoendelea kusherekea ama tunapojiandaa kusherekea siku ya wanawake ambayo itaadhimishwa Machi 8, basi tunakukaribisha tukaweze kuangazia masuala mbalimbali ambayo yanakumba wanawake, ikiwemo pia pamoja na haki zao, na haswa baada ya kwenda kule Beijing miaka 30 iliyopita. Na hii leo basi katika studio kutusaidia kuchanganua masuala ya wanawake ninao wageni watatu, na kwanza kabisa upande wangu wa kulia kule mwisho naye Bi Editor Ochieng. Yeye ni mtetezi wa haki za wanawake. Karibu sana Bi Ochieng kwenye studio zetu. Asante kufika. Na vile vile katikati basi ndo mwanaume pekee hapa ni Dr. Sheikh Hassan Kinywa Omar, mwenyekiti wa Muslim Professionals League Africa. Nimesema vizuri?
Umesema vizuri sana.
Karibu sana.
Asante sana.
Alafu katika mkono wangu wa kushoto basi tunaye balozi kupenda ambassador Esther Waringa. Yeye vile vile ni rais ama president wa utumishi wa utawala wa umma ama ukipenda public service governance. Karibu sana.
Shukrani sana dada yangu.
Na nyote mnapendeza, karibuni.
Asante sana.
Asante. Na wacha tuanze tu kwanza kabla tuingie katika masuala ya ndani. Unajua wakati tunaanza kuzungumzia mambo haya, juma lililopita nilikuwa nafuatilia sana pia majadiliano tukizungumzia masuala ya wanawake. Watu wakawa wanasema kwamba tunazungumza sana mambo ya wanawake. Mbona kila wakati ni wanawake tu? Labda kwa sekunde 30 kila mmoja, tuanze na wewe. Tumefanya sana mambo ya wanawake mpaka sasa watu wanachoka, inapoteza maana ama namna gani?
Watu wamechoka kweli, sidhani watu wamechoka, manake mwanamke ni gumzo, mwanamke ni pillar ya society, na mwanamke anapopatiwa empowerment, society inakuwa the society becomes very stable. Kwa hivyo tukiongea kuhusu positioning mwanamke katika uongozi, katika masuala ya kijamii, katika elimu, katika health, ukisha elimisha mwanamke, ukisha empower mwanamke, ukisha patia mwanamke hiyo nguvu ya kuwa kwa kiongozi, whether kiongozi nyumbani, whether kiongozi shuleni, whether kiongozi katika masuala ya health, ukisha weka mwanamke hapo, masuala ya uongozi inakuwa imetimia. Na ndipo pia tunasema hata katika jamhuri tumepiga hatua kadhaa, kwa sababu nyakati zilizopita hatukuwa na wanawake wengi bungeni, hatukuwa tuna wanawake wengi katika magavana, na sasa tuko na women governors, na pia katika cabinet tumeona ya kwamba tuko na wanawake. Na tungesema hapo sio mwisho, bado tuendelee kupatia wanawake nguvu, hata tuende kiwango hiyo kingine. Na niseme ya kwamba pia tunajipa heshima kama taifa kwa kuwa tuko na mwanamke wa kwanza jaji mkuu wa judiciary ya Kenya, Her Excellency Martha Koome, na hiyo ni makofi kwetu kama Jamhuri ya Kenya. Lakini tunasema pia tupige hatua, tukue na mwanamke wa kwanza rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya. Tukifika hapo tutakuwa mundu, na tutakuwa tumesema Kenya imeingia katika nchi zingine duniani ambazo zimepiga hatua kuona ya kwamba ziko na mwanamke katika uongozi ule mkuu wa taifa lolote katika dunia. So empowering a woman is empowering the whole society. Kwa hivyo hatuwezi choka na hatujachoka, bado tuendelee kupatia wanawake nguvu, na kwa sababu that's why we are here to ensure that mwanamke wa Jamhuri ya Kenya ameangaliwa vizuri, mwanamke wa Jamhuri ya Kenya ako na matibabu mazuri ya kutosha, mwanamke kwanza wale wanapatia watoto tunawarinda vizuri, mwanamke ameelimishwa, mwanamke wale wako sokoni tunawaita mama boga amepatiwa nguvu ya kuwa mama boga popote alipo. So together as women of Kenya we accelerate progress. Thank you.
Wanawake tuko pamoja. Haya, wacha nije kwake Daktari Omar. Swala hili la wanawake, utasikia wanaume wakisema jamani kila wakati wanawake na uhakika tukiangalia kwa mitandao nitapata hilo swali. Kwa nini wanawake? Kwa nini wanawake? Muhimu labda kuangazia masuala mbalimbali kabla tuingie katika mjadala kwa ufupi sana.
Naam, asante sana dada, na vile vile ulituambia tuko smart, lakini wewe nafikiri uko smart kutuliko sote kwa sababu wewe umechanganya rangi zote. Hapa studio mimi nimevaa yellow kama wewe na mama kama blue, kwa hivyo tuchanganya sote. Na kwa hivyo jambo la muhimu ni kwa kuwa unapoangazia tukizungumzia haki za usawa wa jinsia, kwa bahati mbaya watu walikuja wakaingiza mambo ya haki za wanawake ambao ni sawa, na tuelewa wakati huo kulikuwa kuna shida ya wanawake, kama bunge ilikuwa hakuna wanawake, magavana hakuna wanawake, kwa hivyo ile affirmative action ikaweza kufanya kazi vizuri sana. Lakini mara nyingine binadamu hujisahau, na binadamu tunasema weupe ukizidi huwa si weupe tena, uje ukaleta shida, na wekundu vile vile. Kwa hivyo kitu nasema ni kwa kuwa tumepigania sana haki za mtoto wa kike, tukafika mahali tukasahau haki ya mwanamume, na vile vile tukawapatia empowerment wale wanawake sana, tukasahau kuwafundisha vijana vipi utaishi na mwanamke ambaye kama yuko empowered. Ndio unakuta leo talaka ziko nyingi sana, unakuta leo mpaka jinsia, dhulma za kijinsia zimekuwa nyingi sana, kwa sababu ule mwanamume sasa anaona kwa kuwa huyu mwanamke anapatiwa nguvu ni kila mtu, akienda kotini koti nampa nafasi, akienda wapi kama ni kazini mmekuja kutafuta ajira, unakuta wanawake atapewa ajira kabla ya wale wanaume. Kwa hivyo unakuta wanaume, ukiangalia mimi mtu siku moja, hebu kaa siku moja barabarani, hesabu gari zinazopita asubuhi, utakuta mara nyingi sana gari 7 ni za wanawake, 3 ndio za wanaume. Chunguza hilo jambo. Kwa hivyo utakuta vijana wamekuwa kidogo wamefinyika. Kwa hivyo inakuwa ni wajibu sasa tuweze kufanya usawa. Wajua katika dini ya Kiislamu tunaambiwa inna Allaha yuhibbul muqsitin, Mwenyezi Mungu anapenda wenye kufanya mambo kati na kati. Kwa hivyo tukipigania haki za wanawake, na vile vile tukumbuke pia wanaume pia nao wanapiganiwa haki zao.
Tutakuja hapa. Asante sana Dr. Omari. Asante Bi Editor, karibu sana, mtetezi wa haki za wanawake. Wanawake.
Asante sana. Kwanza mimi nataka kushukuru kila mtu mwenye amechukua nguvu na kuendeleza women empowerment kama agenda. Ni muhimu sana sisi wote tushikane, tuendelee. Tukiangalia president wa hii country ni mwanaume. Deputy president alichaguliwa juzi ni mwanaume. Tukiangalia wanaume wenye kwa parliament na wanaume wako wengi sana elected leaders, ina maana wanawake bado wako chini. Hii kelele yenye tunasema ni women empowerment si kelele pekee, kwa sababu mimi nimezaliwa Kibera na nimezaliwa kwa community yenye mwanamke hawezi ongea, kwa community yenye mwanamke anadhalilishwa. Sasa hii wanaume wengi wenye washirikiani na hii mada la women empowerment ni wale wanaume wengi ukiangalia wanaogopa mtoto wa kisichana akuje akae hiyo place umekaa, kwa sababu kitambo 20 years ago 30 years ago ni mwanaume alikuwa amekaa hapo pale umekaa. Hata hapa pale nimekaa, cameraman wote ni wanaume, sijaona mwanamke. Inakuonyesha venye tumedhalilishwa for the longest time. Na tukiangalia hii mada, sisi wenyewe tunafanya utafiti yetu, wakati tutakuja tushikane kwa equality itakuwa 2158, the year 2158. Saa hii ni bado wanawake hawajarepresentiwa ya kutosha, venye tu waziri amesema pa ambassador, bado tuko mbali. Sisi wanawake tu kidogo wa community tukisimama tuseme women power, tukisema women empowerment, wanaume wengi kusema kweli hawafurahie hiyo jambo. Wacha nikurudishe nyuma kidogo, tuangalie institutions zile zenye ziko established. Nataka kuanza na kanisa. Kanisa ina pesa, misikiti na pesa. It is one of the powerful institution. Kwa misikiti mpaka leo hii hatujaiona imam mwanamke. kwa kanisa, for example Catholic Church, we've never seen a female priest. So tukiongea hizi maneno zote, na Mungu alituumba sote, atujui ni nani alikuja na hizi idea kusema mwanaume anaweza fanya hivi na mwanamke hawezi fanya hivi.
Lakini madhehebu mengine anaruhusu wanawake, wapo wachungaji wanawake
kabisa, lakini wako kidogo, mchungaji mmoja katikati wachungaji wa 9 tukihesabu kwa 10, unanielewa? So hii agenda si ya kuchukua ya kusema ati boy child ameachwa nyuma na kupiga ile kazi wanawake wamekuwa wakifanya wakishirikiana na different states. Tunaelewana? Juu wanawake wameshikana wakasema hapana, tumeteseka ya kutosha. Mimi natoka Kibira. I'm not empowered venye ambassador hapa. Bado niko kwa chini kidogo, lakini uko Kibira nikienda mimi ndio star wa women empowerment, kwa sababu wale wasichana kitambo kidogo wakati atungeongea, sasa wasichana wako na mimi nilibakwa nikiwa miaka 6 na wanaume. Nilikuwa na kazi gani ndio wanaume wanibaki? Sikukuwa na kazi yoyote. So hiyo mambo ya kusema labda wanaume wanatubaka kwa sababu ati hawana kitu ya kufanya ama kuna jambo lingine tashuishi, mimi naweza kataa kabisa. It is because of retrogressive culture yenye tumekuwa nayo na toxic masculinity. Wanaume sahi, wakati wa sahi, lazima wakubali wababa zetu na mama zetu wametupeleka shule na lazima tuishi kwa hii dunia. Unanielewa? Na lazima tufuate sheria.
Asante. Haya, ndo mjadala sasa. Nasikia mkoko unaalika maua. Sijui kama kutakalika, Sheikh lazima ujiandae. Lakini hebu tukite katika mada sasa ya tunajiandaa kwa siku ya wanawake duniani Machi 8. Lakini safari ya wanawake pia kupata ukombozi na usawa ulianza miaka 30 iliyopita kule Beijing, China. Na asubuhi nikitoka upande wa pili wa studio, yupo msikilizaji alipiga simu na akasema shida katika ndoa zetu zilianza wakati wanawake walienda kule Beijing na wakaja na mambo ya kutafuta usawa. Labda nianze kwako balozi. Kidogo miaka 30 baadaye, baada niruhusu kusema Beijing Protocol, ni yapi ambayo tumepiga hatua nayo, na labda malengo ya kongamano hili kule Uchina ilikuwa kufanya nini katika maisha ya mwanamke kwa ufupi?
Okay, very good. Ningependa kusema miaka 30 iliyopita tulikuwa na kikao katika Beijing na tukapitisha mambo kadhaa ya kwamba mwanamke aangaziwe ama we accelerate action for women interventions na on education, katika elimu, katika masuala ya afya, tukasema katika masuala ya media, women in media, katika kilimo tukasema ya kwamba wanawake katika kilimo waende hiyo ngazi nyingine, na ile mambo yote ambayo ilizungumziwa pale Beijing naona tumepiga hatua kikamilifu. Na ingine sijasahau women in governance, women in leadership and governance, tumepiga hatua kadhaa, kwa sababu wakati wa Beijing 30 years ago ni wakati ule dada yangu amesema tulikuwa tunaona bunge wanaume pekee. Kumbuka wakati wa Moi, women I think we had 2 or 3 if any, by the way. Na pia cabinet ministers tulikuwa tunaona picha mzima ya cabinet ministers hakuna mama. Lakini after Beijing conference na tumeona ya kwamba parliaments not only in Kenya, even around the world, tumeona ya kwamba wamama wamepiga hatua. Hata tumeona katika nchi ya endelevu ile Marekani, tumeona ya kwamba tuko na mwanamke ambaye alikuwa pia anapigania kiti ya urais wa the most powerful nation around the world. That means the protocols of Beijing zimeendeleza nchi sana kuhusu masuala ya wanawake. Ningependa kusema katika Jamhuri ya Kenya hapa tulikuwa tunaona jamii zingine, nikitaja a few like the Masai, like the Samburu, like the Turkana and others, just to mention a few. Hatukuwa tuko na wasichana katika madarasa. Wasichana walikuwa wanakaa pale nyuma, hata wamama walikuwa wanakaa pale nyuma. Na vile dada yangu pia amesema, hatukuwa tunaona pia wamama wakikaribia na I think my brother Sheikh Hassan here, will you back me up? Hatukuwa tunaona wamama katika front line, katika mazoara ya maombi pale katika Garissa, Northeastern, the Northern Belt. Lakini sasa mwanamke amejitokeza kwa nguvu. Tuko na maseneta na members of parliament na MCAs katika jurisdictions zingine za jamhuri ambazo hatukuwa na wamama. Kwa hivyo ukienda madarasa katika kama saa hii unakuta wasichana wengi ni wanafunzi. Na pia ukiangalia katika ile tunaita STEM, science, technology and mathematics, hata katika university tumeona ya kwamba tuko na women who are in science, tuko na women astronomers, tuko na women computer scientists, tuko na women lecturers katika universities. Nafikiri kile tumebakisha ni mwanamke rais. We can't wait to see a country ambayo itakuwa na the head of state, and of course you know I'm running for the sixth head of state and government. Yes. Kwa hivyo tunagojea kwa hamu Jamhuri ya Kenya tuone. Na unajua mama ni mama. Vile mama atakuwa akitunza nchi, atakuwa ni kama vile ako na watoto wake pale kwa nyumba. Huyu anahakikisha wako na ugali, wako na sukuma, wako na maziwa. That's the woman we are expecting to have in the Republic of Kenya. Na pia niseme ya kwamba mwanamke hatakangi kuona mambo kama corruption. Mwanamke hatakangi kuona mambo kama vile tunaona sasa hivi street families. Mwanamke hataki kuona kuna watoto katika Jamhuri ya Kenya hawaendi shule. Mwanamke, a mother always remains a mother. If given the right platform for leadership, a woman can really deliver. So tumechukua hatua kadhaa kutoka Beijing mpaka wa sasa. I would say that we are about 60%. We are still trying to explore more strategies and interventions. Actually, I don't know how to put it in Swahili, lakini the theme ya kusherehekea wanawake mwaka huu ni accelerate action. Ya kwamba ni lazima tukimbie, tuongeze nguvu, lazima tuongee sana kuhusu masuala ya wanawake.
Shikilia pale. Sheikh takuruka kidogo, acha nije kwake dadangu editor. Hatua ambazo unaona tumepiga kama wanawake ni tunaweza kusema za tosha kwa sasa, tuko vizuri, ama kidogo unasema tangu masuala ya Beijing miaka 30 iliyopita bado tuna safari ndefu?
Tuko na safari ndefu kabisa. Na Beijing, kwanza tunataka kusema wakati wanawake walikuwa wanaenda Beijing nilikuwa miaka 6. Na nikiwa miaka 6 tunaangalia rais aliyekuwa hapo awali, Rais Moi, hakufurahia kwa sababu community zetu zimeturaise like mwanamke anafaa kulia kila siku. Mwanamke akiwa na furaha, akiwa anapendeza kama wewe sahi, akiwa amesoma, kuna shida. Beijing ilitusaidia sana, na kabla Beijing nataka tukumbushane pale tulitoka na tukue na hii history kwa nini Beijing ilifanyika. Mwaka wa 1908 wanawake karibu 15,000 huko New York walikuja kwa jumla na wakaanza kutetea wanawake wenzao kwa sababu hawakuwa wanaajiriwa. Kumbuka hiyo ni New York. Hao wanawake hawakuwa wanaajiriwa na hawakuwa wanapewa ruhusa ya kufanya nini, ya kupiga kura, ya kudetermine ni nani atakuwa kiongozi wao. Miaka 1910 kuna mwanamke anaitwa Clara anatoka nchi ya Ujerumani akasema hapana, hii masuala yenye ilifanyika New York wacha tulete hapa German ili pia sisi tuweze kuaccelerate, kupeana nguvu, kuamplify sauti zetu, wanawake waanze kuwekwa kwa nini, kwa njia za usawa, kwa sababu mwanamke ana kategoriziwa kama mwanamke after kusema yeye ni binadamu. So inamaanisha binadamu wote lazima wapate nini, hii usawa. So tukaenda 1911 ikafika, na 1917 ndio International Women's Day ikakuwa ya kuselebretiwa kimataifa, unanielewa? So in 1975 the UN ikakuja kwa pamoja dhibitisha hiyo siku, ikasema hii siku ni ya wanawake. Ni kwa sababu kusema ukweli mtoto wa kike anawachwa nyuma, kila siku tunakeketwa na tunapigwa na community kwa sababu tumesema wacheni kukeketa mtoto mwanamke. Tukasema jambo lingine, tukasema mwanamke lazima aende shuleni. Community taki hiyo, bado tunapigwa kwa kusema mtoto mwanamke lazima aende shuleni, unanielewa? So ukiangalia ideology zetu kama wanawake, wale tumekuwa kipaumbele tukishikana na different states, wale wenye wako wana create enabling environment za wanawake, bado community zetu zinakataa, zina resist. Na ndio kwa maana Beijing, hata ukiongelelea leo, kila mwanaume anaweka some negative thoughts about Beijing. Lakini tuangalieni, Beijing ilifanyika nikiwa miaka 6. Saa hii niko na miaka 36. Unanielewa? Na naangalia progress. Hata hapa balozi akiniangalia na furahia kwa sababu 36 years ago mwanamke angekuja hapa kuongelelea jinsi ya wanawake. Mimi saa hii partner wangu ananiangalia kwa TV nimemwacha nyumbani, and he knows women empowerment is my agenda. I'm in marriage, and I'm not living in marriage because I'm living. Niko because it is a working and it is a healthy relationship. And when we advocate for that, tusiseme ati wanawake wale wenye wanataka labda talaka, atatuambia leo akiamka nataka talaka, ati sasa it is because of empowerment ile tuko nayo. Hapana. Jambo nye sisi tunasema kama wanawake, lazima kila mwanamke aishi kwa healthy relationship yenye na progress agenda za mwanamke na pia community. Unanielewa?
Shikilia pale bi editor. Umeona nilikokuwa naelekea kwa Dr. Hassan. kongamano hili la Beijing miaka 30 baadaye, ningependa uipatie mtizamo tofauti. Labda imeleta mafanikio, a lot of positivity katika jamii, ama ndio tumeharibu sana? Manake wapo wanaohisi ya kwamba baada ya masuala ya Beijing mwanamke sasa katika safari ya kutafuta usawa wa kijinsia, ndio usawa kazini, kisiasa, basi tumeharibu zaidi. Alafu hata tukirudi pale manyumbani kama alivyosema kidogo, inakuwa kwamba kuna wale wanaogopa kwamba mwanamke ambaye ametiwa nguvu zaidi ama amekuwa empowered si mwanamke hata ambaye anaweza kutulia badala ya kujenga nyumba yake na kuja kuibomoa kwa mikono yake. Unasemaje kuhusiana na swala hili la Beijing? Limetukuza vizuri ama ndo tunasema limeharibu wanawake?
Na shukrani sana kwa hakika. Unapoangazia kongamano hili la Beijing ambalo lilikuja na azimio la Beijing na jukwaa la utekelezaji wa makubaliano ya kimataifa yaliyopitishwa huu mwaka 1995, ukiangalia kongamano hilo kwa hakika lilivyofanywa na wakatoa ile azimio, lile azimio lilitisha sana wanaume, kwa sababu wanaume walikuwa hakujafanyika kwa maana kama hilo la wanawake kutoka ulimwengu mzima. Lakini nafikiri kilofanyika ni vile wanawake walivorudi. Wajua wale wanawake nao walivorudi sasa, wapanda ndege wanamori kweli kweli, wakiingia hapa kwanza wakaanza na mzee Moi. Moi alikipata pata kwa Beijing, alikuwa hataki kusikia Beijing kwa hakika. Marehemu Moi alikuwa akisikia Beijing anasema huko ni mahala hata wanawake hawafai kuenda tena.
Kwa hivyo attitude naye haikuwa nzuri. Attitude
kwanza, wanaume wengi walionelea kwa wanawake hawa wameenda kujifunga njuga za kuja kupigana na sisi. Hiyo ndio shida kwa kwamba ilitokea. Lakini utakuta kongamano lenyewe kulingana na sisi lilikuwa kongamano lizuri sana, kwa sababu lilikuwa mtoto mdogo wakati huo, na nakumbuka wakati huo ndio mamangu, Mungu amrehemu, aliweza kutoa sauti kuweza kuambia ndugu yake wacha kunipiga, kwa sababu kwa bahati mbaya ilikuwa babangu alikufa nikiwa mdogo. Kwa hivyo sisi tukaishi kama yatima, tukaishi kwa nyanya yetu. Na tukumbuka kwa kuwa wale ndugu zake mamangu mara nyingine badala ya kuatilia nguvu hawa wasichana kama mamangu, wanakuja sengine unakuta mamako anapigwa ni ndugu yake. Kwa hivyo hili jambo la Beijing sisi tualiunga mkono na tuona limesaidia. Ni vile tu twafaa sasa wanaume kukubali kwa kuwa mambo ubadilika. Wajua hakuna kitu ushtua kama mabadiliko. Na tuambia vijana wetu mambo yamebadilika. Kwa sababu sasa lazima tukubali wanawake, lazima tuwapatie nguvu, na dini ya Kiislamu ilikuja kumpatia mwanamke nguvu. Ukimwangalia Mtume Muhammad SAW ilikuwa wasichana wa Arabu, na si Arabu peke yake, wale makabila ya Middle East, ilikuwa mtu akisikia anapata mtoto wa kike anasema auliwe kabla hajafika. Kabla hajafika, na ikiwa atafika mtoto wa kike hajauliwa, basi aweza muua mtoto wa kike na mamake. Ndio Qur'ani kauliza wa idhal mau'udatu su'ilat bi ayyi dhanbin qutilat. Kumbuka si kwamba mtoto ataulizwa kwa nini uliuawa. Kwa hivyo atamsema alomuua, na ule alomuua Mwenyezi Mungu atamtia motoni siku ya kiyama. Unaona, Qur'an ilikuja kupigania haki za wanawake. Ukiangalia haki za wanawake, Qur'an ilipigania kabla Beijing, kwa sababu Qur'an miaka 1446 nyuma ilipigania mtoto wa kike aweze kurithi. Ilikuwa mwanamke harithi. Na mpaka leo kuna wanawake harithi. Mimi nimeona mara kwingi, mimi ni wakili, naenda kotini unakuta mtu anasema huyu msichana hafai kurithi. Kwa nini? Kwa sababu aliolewa. Kwa hivyo anakule kwa mume wake ndiko atarithi. Lakini Qur'an nasema mwanamke lazima arithi mali ya babake, mali ya mumewe. Kwa hivyo haki za urithi pia ziko, na haki ya elimu. Ukimwangalia Mtume Muhammad SAW alimfundisha binti yake Fatima Zahra, akawa ndiye mwanamke mjuzi zaidi kushinda wanaume. Kwa hivyo haki pia kusomesha wanawake ilianza wakati wa Mtume Muhammad SAW. Hii kudhulumu wasichana, kuambia wanawake utaolewa kwa hivyo kaa nyumbani, hii ni mambo ya mila, si dini. Kwa hivyo watu wasichanganye. Shida ya Uislamu ni moja tu, na ndio maana watu wengi mimi hawanipendi. Mimi kama unajua dada, nimeweza kupewa tuzo la kuwa gender champion mara nyingi. Na Waislamu wengi kwa hakika hawanipendi, kwa sababu mimi uzungumza ukweli. Waislamu wengi wanachanganya mila na dini. Wanakeketa wasichana, wanakuambia hii ni Uislamu, ni urongo. Hii ni mila za mahali fulani, sasa kuzitaja wanajijua wenyewe. Wanachanganya ndani ya dini. Mtume Muhammad SAW hakukeketa binti yake, hakukeketa mke wake. Haya ni mambo ambayo kwamba yanatiwa ndani ya dini ya Kiislamu, na sisi tunakataa.
Shikilia pale, tutakuja pale kwa dhulma za kijinsia, lakini kwa ufupi pia kama nimekupata vizuri kwamba unapasisha ujumbe kwa wanaume waogope wanawake ambao wametiwa nguvu, wamewezeshwa, wamekuwa empowered, lakini pia unasema wanawake na yale mamlaka watumie vizuri.
Mamlaka bila shaka lazima wanawake watumie vizuri. Unapokaa na mwanamke na mwanamume, Unakuta Biblia katika kitabu cha Corinthians inamwambia mwanamke lazima amtii mume wake. Unapokuja kwenye Qur'an nao vile vile mwanamke anaambiwa amtii mume wake. Lakini huyu mwanamume kutiiwa lazima awe na jukumu. Ndio mimi wanaambia wanawake, ikiwa wewe unakaa na mwanamume jilevi, lije na nguo ambazo kwamba limekojolea nguo ama limechafua nguo kwa choo, usimuoshe. Umwache aoshe hizo nguo mwenyewe. Alienda kunywa hizo nguo, mwanamume azioshe mkojo wake, aoshe choo chake. Mwanamke aoshe nguo, tumetoka kazini mimi hivi, nguo zioshe. Lakini ati nimekuja ati nimekojolea nguo sababu ya ulevi, unisipewe. Ama nimekuja usiku saa 6 nimekuwa mlevi kweli kweli, hiyo nyumba isifunguliwe.
Lakini Sheikh, mtasema tunakataa kutii, asipoosha mtasema kwamba amekataa kutii, anavunja ndoa yake.
Katika dini ya Kiislamu tunaambiwa la ta'ata li makhluqin fi ma'siyati al-khaliq. Hakuna kumtii binadamu anapomwasi Mwenyezi Mungu. Kwa hivyo kama ni jilevi limekuja, usilifungulie, na machifu wasaidie, kwa sababu kesho bibi atapigwa sana. Kwa hivyo chifu awe pale kuhakikisha huyu bibi hatopigwa, na si jamii pia tumtetee huyu mwanamume, mwanamke, tuhakikishe huyu mwanamume tunampeleka rehabilitation, ende akawache pombe.
Na mtazamaji, natumai unafuatilia mjadala. Ningependa pia utupatie maoni yako kupitia mitandao yetu ya kijamii kwenye Facebook na mtandao wa X, maoni yako kuhusiana na mjadala huu. Wanawake wamepewa mamlaka zaidi, wanatumia vizuri, ama bado tunagandamizwa kidogo, hatujafika mahali ambapo tulikuwa tunaelekea? Na mmesikia msiogope masuala ya Beijing. Kabla nirudi kwako balozi, nije kwako kidogo editor, na pole sana kwa uliopitia katika usichana wako. Dhulma hiyo tayari ulitaja masuala ya kubakwa, na najua kwa njia moja ama nyingine pia iliweza kuathiri ile tunasema kwa Kiingereza your self esteem, labda ukiwa mkubwa. Wanawake wengi hata sasa wanapitia dhulma za kijinsia, masuala kama ya ubakaji, masuala yale tunasema dhulma za pale nyumbani, gender based violence na mambo mengine mbalimbali, ukeketaji tulivyotaja. Unafikiri kama taifa tuko wapi katika kupambana na mambo kama haya, na iwapo kuna mianya, kipi ambacho tunafaa kufanya kuhakikisha kwamba mwanamke, mtoto msichana amelindwa?
Asante sana. Kwanza, hii ni janga hapa Kenya, na juzi ndo wanawake wamekuwa affected na COVID-19. Nasemi wanawake pekee, jamii different, lakini wanawake wali affectiwa zaidi. Na hii time ya COVID-19 ilipea wanawake walikuwa vulnerable, na ikapea unyanyasaji opportunity ya kuweza kurudisha, kusubjugate wanawake waendelee kukua chini. Na kule Kibira, wakati nilikuwa nafanya research zangu, na tulifanya tukishirikiana na shirika inaitwa Utu Wetu, niliongelesha karibu wanawake 100, na wanawake walibakwa, watoto wasichana walinajisiwa, na wanawake tu wakubakwa pekee pia walilawitiwa. Lakini mara mingi mwanamke ataongelelea kwa kubakwa, lakini atawacha kuongelelea kulawitiwa. So inakuonyesha pali tuko as a society, na after hata kupata hizi sheria, kukuwa na Constitution of Kenya, tuko na Beijing, tuko na Maputo Protocol, bado kuna ugumu kabisa. Wale wanaume wenye wako na toxic masculinity, they will shatter your dream through rape. They will rape you to shatter our dreams as women, because they use their toxic masculinity. So sahi bado tuko nyuma kabisa, na naangalia mimi mwenyewe sijarepiwa mara moja, unanielewa? So women will tend to speak about one rape, kwa sababu ukisema story yako mara mingi, labda ulirepiwa mara 10, nani atakusikia? Unanielewa? Alafu kuna aibu hata kusema nilibakwa, na si ati aibu ni ya mtu mwenye ni wa survivor, ni community inaletea survivors wafili ya aibu. Sahi wakati wa sahi watu wanatumia technology, na ukweli balozi, mimi niko kwa technology, na utapata wanaume wanapiga, wanasema wewe kwanza ulijipeleka, ulikuwa umevaa nini? Unasema ulirepiwa ndio usaidiwe. Sasa mimi nauliza, uko Kisumu ndogo Kibira huko ndani, wakati mtu alikuwa nani baka, ni nani alikuwa pale kunisaidia? Ama walipewa pesa wakuje wanibake ndio nikuje niombe msaada? So men will use everything they have to ensure they belittle women empowerment. Now one of the strategy yenye wanaume wametumia, it is through sexual violence, and as women we need to acknowledge that. Unanielewa? Hata sasa hivi yenye niko empowered na nafanya kazi na feminist activist hapa Nairobi, karibu 5 wenye unaniona, si unaona naongea na nguvu
tena sana
kama mimi kwa miaka imepita karibu miaka 3-4, imagine wamerepiwa. Sasa mimi nimerepiwa saa hii, wewe nadhani nitakuja kukuambia? So masuala ya rape ni janga, na sisi kama community lazima tukuje kwa pamoja. Na saa hii pia imeshift, Unaona, sahi sana sana watu wanarepu wanawake ni religious leaders, na religious leaders, you don't question religious leaders, ni kwa sababu Mungu amewaweka pale, unanielewa? Ukienda kusema, watoto wengi sana sana wa kiume, Sheikh atatuambia hapa, wamesema jana nilikuwa msikitini, nilienda kuomba na hii kanifanyikia. But because it's a religion setup, we don't need to question. Walimu shuleni, mababa zetu, maanko, my neighbors, they take advantage of little children, both boys and girls, tusisahau. Unanielewa? Watoto wa kiume sahi wanaumia kabisa. Lakini pia tukiongelelea women empowerment, zile vitu tumefanya, saa zingine communities zinataka ku water down. Sahi kuna maswali ya boy child. Wacha nikwambie, kwa community mimi nafanya kazi. Mimi ni mtu mkubwa, 18 years and above. Pali mimi sasa naenda kujiumuika, napenda kudance na pia kukunywa vitu zako. So wakati tuko kwa table yetu, I ask men, wewe leo umeongelesha watoto wangapi wanaume? 0. Mimi sasa nakuanga nimetoka kwa community, nimeongelesha watoto wasichana kwa kikao, hakuna mtu ana fund. Unaona, I use the resources that I have as a woman to ensure that wasichana wameelewa hizi mambo. So pia wanaume wanatudhalilisha, wamekuwa wakilia, balozi atatuambia, and then they point fingers at us to ensure that mtoto mwanaume amekuwa empowered tena na mwanamke. Kwa nini wanaume wanapea wanawake baggage kubwa sana? Sikatai kama wanawake tunaweza empower watoto wavulana, lakini tunafaa kushirikiana. Unaona mtoto mvulana kwa kimwili akigrow akiwa kwa puberty stage, anaweza relate tu na mwanaume. Mimi sijui kukuwa mwanaume, I only know how it feels to be a woman.
Kwa hivyo wanaume wanafaa kumenta watoto wavulana
kabisa, na waache kuteta, wanafaa kushirikiana. Wamekuwa wakipiga women empowerment na bado wanataka tuwasaidie kuempower watoto wanaume. Wakuje, waache kuogopa. We are empowered like this. I'm not afraid to be empowered and to get more empowerment. I'm ready to get more empowerment and build this nation through the empowerment that I have.
Shukran. Sheikh atatuambia baadaye chama cha maendeleo ya wanaume bado kipo ama kilikufa. Ambassador, tuje kwako tu, Biwaringa kwa ufupi pia tu. Amezungumzia masuala mbalimbali pia na dhulma za kijinsia, na mwaka huu Januari rais akawa amebuni ile tunaita task force ya kikundi nafikiri watu 30 ambao wataangazia kupambana na masuala ya mauaji dhidi ya wanawake, yani ile femicide cases, na vile vile dhulma za kijinsia pale nyumbani. Kamati inaongozwa na Binansi Baraza aliyekuwa naibu Chief Justice. Lakini pia tunasema kwamba hapa nchini mambo na task force si jambo geni, kwamba zimekuwepo, tunakuwa na commission of inquiry na mambo kama yale. Ni yapi ambayo tunatarajia mapya haswa kutoka katika task force ambayo iliwekwa pamoja kuhakikisha kwamba masuala yanayoathiri wanawake yanaangaziwa?
Ningependa kusema kwamba hiyo ni hatua mzuri sana ambayo rais alichukua, manake when the women empowerment comes from the highest authority in the country, then we are assured that the women of Kenya are protected. Kwa hivyo hiyo ni jambo mzuri, lakini going forward we have seen task forces that have been constituted, lakini ile report ambayo wanaleta inaenda tu kwa shelf, implementation inakuwa ni shida. Kwa hivyo kwa hii ya baraza, I know Nanze Baraza as a former leader in the women in the judicial space, huyu ni mwanamke ambaye anaweza fuatilia na rais pia na ile timu alikuwa nayo akifuatilia na executive Eva Imeseso, tuone ya kwamba whatever came from the report, especially mambo ya femicide, kuwa wanawake, ambayo ilichukua kipaumbele. Tukaona runinga zote zinaongea kuhusu wanawake ambao wanabakwa, wanawake ambao walikuwa wanauawa, wanawake ambao tukaona pale Embakasi kuna shimo fulani ambao walitoa mili kadhaa ya wanawake. So we want to see this report being implemented, and tungependa kuona a difference in the former task force reports that ambao kamati inakaa chini, inalipwa na pesa kutoka kwa exchequer na taxpayers money, lakini the report that they come up with is not implemented. So for this one, and specifically right now when our country is suffering on insecurity matters pertaining to women, tungependa kuona especially, unajua wakati walienda Beijing, we were able to see the Beijing protocols, we were able to see walitoka na nini Beijing, na sasa hivi tunaweza kuona tumefika wapi. Tunaweza piga hatua tuone what percentage of Beijing protocols have been realized. So we want going forward to know what came out of this task force, na ni hatua gani ambazo tumeweza ama tunaweza kuchukua kama nchi, kwa sababu mambo ya kuua wanawake, ukiua mwanamke unaua ile begu ambayo nchi it's a foundation seed for the country. Kwa hivyo unapoua mwanamke hata mmoja, you are killing a whole nation. Kwa hivyo tungependa kuona ni maswala gani ambayo iliwekwa kwa hiyo taratibu. Na pia niseme ya kwamba tuko na the Gender Commission katika Jamhuri ya Kenya. What are they doing? Gender Commission tangu ianzishwe, what steps have they taken on women empowerment, on matters kupatia wanawake kama vikundi? Ningependa kuona nikienda Kibila, Gender Commission imepatia wanawake nguvu Kibila kujimudu, economic empowerment, social empowerment. These are some of the things that we would want to see going forward coming from the Gender Commission. Actually, Gender Commission mmenyamaza sana. Wacha tusikie mkikuja. We want to hear from you what is happening. We want to see you engaging the Ministry of Gender to establish a fund that is going to take care of women socio-economic empowerment. Hatutaki kuona wanawake ukienda Kibira, Madhare, Mukuru, unaona wanawake they are living, it's like they are not living in their own country. Mambo imewakaria, watoto wamewakaria, elimu imewakaria, health ndio hiyo. Actually, what happened, Rida Mama? We want to see all these great initiatives coming to the front line going forward to protect the right of a woman, because unajua tunajiringa wanawake kwa sababu sisi ndio tunazaa nchi. The 55 million population of the Republic of Kenya is a result of the power of a woman. Lakini Dr. Hassan hapa ataniambia it never happens without a man. So behind every successful woman in the Republic there is a man. So the Gender Commission, the Ministry of Gender, we want to see what you are doing. Waziri tafadhali wacha tujiweke nguvu, and also the Presidential Advisory on Women Agenda. My friend, we really want to see going forward what are some of the protocols that we can adopt as women of the Republic and implement, not only adopting lakini be competent. Na kitu kingine sitaki kusahau ni the competence of women, especially wale wa mama tuko bunge, wale wa mama tuko katika Senate, wale wanawake governors. What is our level of competence? Wakati umefika wanawake, tafadhali tuseme kwa heri kwa corruption. We would not want to see any woman in the Republic of Kenya akitajwa kuwa ati huyu alihusika na hii corruption ama alihusika na ile jambo ingine. So we would want to see going forward, because we are talking about the theme, accelerate action. Accelerate action. We must ensure the women in the leadership protocols that you do your best to ensure that corruption is no more in the space of women. We ensure that poverty, tafadhali. It is very unfortunate tukiona mama akona watoto wawili watatu katika hii nchi at such a time as now, watoto wanarara ja. Something else, women in parliament, why don't we pass laws and women cabinet ministers policies that you remove our women from the streets? We don't want to see again mwanamke anakaa pale katika Koinange ala pale katika Tomboya street anakaa na watoto watano. A woman of this country, we would not want to see reproach. We would not want to see disgrace when we have very powerful women in policy formulation, formulation and implementation positions in the Republic of Kenya, and nothing is being done. So gender and National Commission, and also to the UN women, over to you. Na pia sisi tuko hapa, we will help where we can.
Umeenda mbele yangu na umejibu maswali kama matatu ambayo alikuwa mbele yangu kuhusu nafasi ya wanawake katika uongozi na hasa siasa, na umetaja vizuri. Pia kuna gender policy ambayo najua pia ipo, na umetaja pia wanawake viongozi. Kuna kikundi cha KEOPA, Kenya Women Parliamentarians also have na vile labda sijui kama labda mtanikumbusha, naweza kuwa nimesahau Ministry ya Agenda. Ministry ya Agenda kidogo hatujapewa waziri kufikia sasa. Nafikiri tunahitaji kufanya kitu kuhusu hilo. Lakini hayo ni baadaye kidogo. Asante. Sheikh, nije kwako kabla tupate simu 2-3. Naona muda umetukimbiza sana, na kina dada wametaja mambo mengi tu, na mengi pia ambayo wamezungumzia ni action, manake theme ni accelerate action. Tupige hatua sasa, tuchukue hatua. Nataka uzungumzie swala kama kiongozi wa kidini, na vile kiongozi ambaye pia ni mtetezi wa haki za wanawake, swala la tamaduni na unyanyapaa katika jamii, japo katika masuala ya wanawake. Tamaduni zimechangia vipi katika labda kumdunisha mwanamke, ijapo katika uongozi ulishataja masuala ya urithi na masuala mbalimbali. Labda ugusie tu kwa ufupi na tuone vipi tutaenda mbele kwa kisha kwamba hizi tamaduni hazimfanyi mwanamke kusalia pale chini.
Na asante sana dada, na hili swala muhimu sana. Nitaanza na tamaduni na nitaweza kugusa dini pia baadaye. Tamaduni zetu zimeweza kumdunisha mwanamke kwa sababu unakuta mwanamke unakuja unaniambia mimi kama mzazi wako, bwana, mimi mume wangu anipiga. Utakuta mimi kama baba kidogo naweza kuwa na huruma na wewe, lakini mamako anakuambia mwanangu, rudi kule kule. Sasa uende uvunjwe mkono, utauawa. Hii tamaduni ya kwa mwanamke lazima awe mvumilivu, si leo. Wanaume wa leo ni wanyama. Mimi nakwambia wanaume wa leo ni wanyama. Kwa hivyo ni wakati wa zamani ambapo wanaume walikuwa na huruma. Leo wanaume hawana huruma. Mwanamke ukimpiga akiregeshwa kwako nakwambia atauawa. Kwa hivyo wazazi wetu, kwanza wanawake, tunakuomba binti yako akija akwambie mimi nimepigwa, muache alale kwako. Huyo mume aje kesho ili kesi ifanyike, mjue kulikuwa vipi, lakini usiwahi mregesha mtoto wako kwa yule mume. Lakini saa zingine kuna matatizo sababu labda yule mwanamke amefukuzwa na ameacha watoto wa kike kule. Ule mwanamume nyama atalala na wale wanawake, watoto wa kike, imetokea siku hizi. Kwa hivyo inakuwa ni vizuri leo mwanamke amekimbia naye asiache wasichana wake nyuma na wanaume. Pia wanaume wazalawitiwa ni ule baba. Siku zote imekuwa. Kwa hivyo tunasema strategy ni kwa kuwa mwanamke umeamua kutoroka, tafadhali toroka na watoto wako. Na vile vile imekuwa siku hizi jamii inakwambia nyumba ya watu mimi hainihusu. Mimi naomba jamani, msikilizaji, mtazamaji, popote ulipo, unaposikia nduru kwenye nyumba yoyote, tafadhali kimbia kwenye ile nyumba. Of course kuna zile nduru za raha, nafikiri tuelewana. Zile nduru za raha zile hazikuhusu. Ile kidogo za mgongea kama nyumba za mabati, jamaa punguzeni. Lakini nduru za kwa mwanamke anapigwa, tafadhali ukisikia kwenda kwa ile nyumba tumtoe mwanamke. Kwa sababu nyumba nyingi wanawake ameuliwa. Na asubuhi tukisema mwanamke ameuliwa, wanasema tulisikia nduru. Sasa wewe ulisikia nduru, mbona ukwenda kugonga? Kwa hivyo iwe ni jukumu letu sote. Kwa hivyo wanawake lazima tuwachunge. Jambo lingine ni ambassador hapa amezungumzia masuala ya wanawake kulala barabarani. Mimi nilikuwa Mombasa juzi. Nilikuwa nimeenda kutuzwa kama amongst the 50 most influential CEOs in Kenya. Na nikiwa Mombasa nilitembea usiku maeneo ya saa 4 mpaka saa 5. Napenda sana kutembea. Nimetembea nchi 35 duniani. Na napenda sana kutembea usiku. Ukitembea nchi yote usiku utajua ukweli wa ile nchi. Nilikuta wanawake zaidi ya 100 wamelala barabarani. Wallahi mimi naambia, especially watu wa Mombasa, tembea hii street kutoka kule Makupa kushuka chini, wanawake zaidi ya 100 wamelala. Wengine wamelala na watoto. Niliwaamsha baadhi yao, nikauliza ni vipi, akaniambia bwana, mimi ni mwanamke na siwezi fanya ukahaba. Kwa hivyo wanatafuta kazi ndogo ndogo, na siku hizi hakuna ajira. Kwa hivyo tungeomba rais wetu William Samoei Ruto ajue hali ni ngumu. Tunamuomba Governor Abdulswamad ajue hali ni ngumu Mombasa. Mimi nazungumzia Mombasa ndio niliona, na Nairobi pia ni zaidi. Ukitembea Nairobi siku hizi expressway mzima utakuta familia zinalala chini. Alafu asubuhi watoto wanaogeshwa na maji yale mtaro wanaenda shule. Ni reality iliyoko Kenya yetu. Kwa hivyo tunaomba serikali kwanza isimame kidete kuweza kuwasimamia hawa wanawake. Lakini swali la serikali ni hivi: hawa watoto baba zao wako wapi? Mimi naomba kutoka leo hawa watoto baba zao waende washikwe pale wako, walazimishwe kuwasimamia hawa watoto, na payslip ikatwe half ikitumiwa huyu mama. Hilo ni jambo naomba tushirikiane. Serikali tafadhali, mkienda kufukuza hawa wanawake wasilale kwenye streets, mitaa, waulizeni bwanako ni nani. Hakuna mwanamke ajui alomtia mimba nani. Hapana. Isipokuwa wale kahaba ndi bahati mbaya, lakini ama rape. Lakini wengi 80% wanajua baba mtoto yuko wapi. Kwa hivyo wale wanaume wende watafutwe, kwa sababu kuna wanaume wengine kazi yao ni kutupa mbegu. Wako wengi kazi ni kutupa mbegu tu. Yeye utupa mbegu akiwacha. Kwa hivyo hawa wanaume waanze kufanywa accountable, waweze kuhakikisha kwa kuwa wameangalia hawa watoto. Tusikubali mtoto wote aumie, tusikubali mwanamke aumie. Kwa hivyo hizi desturi za mwanamke kuregeshwa kwake si sawa. Vile vile katika dini, sasa dini nayo inaleta matatizo makubwa. Dini nakwambia ati kichwa hakipiti mwili, mwili haupiti kichwa. Sasa unakuta mwanamume akishashika dini ile, hata tukienda kwa kiongozi wa kidini, maadamu ni mume na mke, unakuta kiongozi wa dini anashikana na mwanamume, anamdhulumu mwanamke. Ukienda katika kadhi courts, hapa ndio mara nyingi Waislamu wengi wameniingilia. Mimi nilikuwa katika mstari wa mbele kupigania. Zamani ilikuwa cheti cha ndoa inaulizwa mwanamke uko bikra au la. Ilikuwa ni kosa kubwa sana. Hebu fikiria dadangu, umewekwa kwenye umati wa watu, waulizwa mbele ya watu, wewe ni bikra au la. Ilikuwa ni aibu kubwa. Nilipigania hilo likaondolewa. Hilo
na wanaume haulizwi kama wana mabikira.
Kaza wanaume pia ulizwi. Hata mwanamke sikize ulizwi. Hilo swali hakuna. Jambo lingine ni kadhi courts. Unakuta kuna hizi talaka nyingi sana. Kwa nini? Makadhi wengi kesi ikifika tu pale in one sit unakuta divorce imetolewa. Sasa makadhi tunaomba, nilimwambia chief kadhi ambaye kama rafiki yangu sana, na ukikumbuka mimi nilikuwa nominated kuwa pia chief kadhi, na mwambia kesi zikifika pale kwa kadhi court za marriage zisihukumiwe, zipelekwe kwa alternative dispute resolution kabla ya kwenda kule mbele. Na akiamua kesi ahakikisha wale watoto nao pia wameweza kusimamiwa haki zao, sababu hapa ndio serikali tuomba iruhusu makadhi waanze kuhukumu mambo ya watoto, kwa sababu kazi yao huachisha. Lakini sasa inakuwa mwanamke akitaka haki za watoto wake lazima aende children's court. Na wanawake wengi hawana empowerment.
Huu mjadala huwezi kamilika leo, lakini naomba tu tumpatie msikilizaji angalau simu mbili mjue kwamba watu wanafuatilia. Unaweza kuvalia headphones. Rashid, naomba simu 3 kwa ufupi zaidi tunapoelekea kutamatisha. Rashid.
07006999. Una swali gani kuhusiana na mjadala huu ambao unatokota hapa? Pana Sheikh pale, kuna act dozi zipo. Hello.
Hello. Natoka naongea kiwa sehemu ya Kisikeroka. Swali langu nauliza hivi. Mbona kwa kampeni kesi kuuliza yoyote sasa uraisi wanasema ati hawana pesa?
Asante. Hello Radio Taifa.
Haro.
Haro.
Nimefurahi sana kusikia huu mswada wa wanawake ati wa jana tulikuwa nao nikiambia Dora tuito wa mnyoro kama wa mama. Asante sana, nimesikia wa mama hatuachi nyuma.
Haya. Nasema atakaoitwa wa mnyoro kwa Gashagwa. Hello Radio Taifa.
Hello Radio Taifa. Huyu Brashat Membote ya Baraza nikiwa Nakuru.
Swali lako.
Nataka kuuliza kuna wamama wanapata wameua wazee wao, tutakuwa challenge hadi kwa mama wao. Kama biwa bibi inaangaliwa sana, inaangaliwa kila kitengo.
Haya. Zinga.
Rashid, habari ya asubuhi.
Mzuri sana.
Mimi Daniel Ngoma.
Swali lako Daniel.
Swali langu, nimesikia mama wakiongea mambo tena ya rabies, tena nikasikia ujungu. Na wauliza kama mwaka jana nilisikia kisa kwa mama huko Nairobi ilikuwa mingi sana. Walichukua kufikia jukumu gani ama wanafaa wafanyaje ni wakomesha watu, ama ni mapepo ama ni watu?
Haya. Dora, ni mapepo ama ni watu?
Haya, shukran Rashid. Wacha turejee huko kwa sababu ya muda, na pia maoni ni mengi. Kama kuna jamaa anaitwa Mabogo katika mtandao wa Facebook anasema ni ukweli sana, kwa sababu mama akisimama kwa ndoa, nyumba na familia usimama, lakini migogoro mingi huletwa na mwanamke, haswa akiwa na upungufu wa jambo fulani. Mwanaume akikosa kutekeleza hilo kunakuwa na shida. Kuna jamaa anaitwa Chamoto anasema wote ni watoto na binadamu, lakini ukweli ni kwamba mtoto wa kiume ameachwa kujihangaikia. Ukiangalia wale wanaokuwa mstari wa mbele kuzungumzia mambo ya Beijing, wengi hawajaolewa. Kwa nini? Walivunja ndoa zao, na huku wanaeneza injili potovu badala ya kuelimisha wenzao kwa vitendo. Na nisome tu moja nyingine ya mwisho haraka upesi kwamba nasemaje, ndio tuweza kuzingatia msemayo, lakini je, wanawake wako tayari kufuatilia ama wanachukulia advantage eti ni lazima? Jamani, pia wajichunge. Na maoni yapo mengi sana kupitia mitandao. Tuna dakika 2 na lazima sisi wote tushare hizi dakika. Tuanze nawe balozi katika yale ambayo umesikia tu, labda unaweza correspond kwa kitu kimoja na hatimaye kusema kwenda mbele tufanyeje.
Very good. Ningependa kusema ya kwamba bottom line is wacha tu accelerate action. Tuende pale mbele na tuweze kutia nguvu mambo yote ambayo yanahusu wa mama. Na pia ningependa sema ya kwamba kuna huyu jamaa kutoka Kisikeroka ameuliza swali kuhusu wa mama kuwa rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya. Wacha nimwambie nimesimama kuwa rais wa
mara nyingi kwa nini pesa?
Kenya. Na pia pesa, yes, that is something that usually inakuwa shida kwa wamama kwa sababu wanaume wamejimundu, wanaume wako na hela, wanaume wako na kila kitu. But I think what we lack is goodwill, because even women, and also our electoral system is very expensive. Our electoral system is very expensive, where you realize that for a woman to be able to realize, nilikuwa nasimama kiti ya urais, mama moja akaniambia kama huna 4 billion forget about it. No, that's not the way to go for a country. So we must ensure that our system, tumeweka system ya kwamba zimepatia nafasi wanawake kuwa pia wakisimama zile viti za governor na za kuwa marais. So I think going forward, and I think the president, His Excellency the President, kuna wakati last simama kiti tena atahakikisha he has a woman running mate, and that is good, but also we are also looking forward to a women president, not really deputy president. Kwa hivyo okay, wacha niachie
muda. Naona mwelekezi ananiambia tumalizie labda sekunde 30 bwana Sheikh, pia nikusikie sekunde 30 tukimalizia tukwenda mbele.
Asante sana. Kwanza ningeomba sana wa Kenya tukianza kuingia katika nyanja na wakati wa uchaguzi, tusichague watu kwa sababu ya minajili ya pesa zao. Tuchague watu kwa maadili yao. Kwa hivyo 2027 hasa tuchague watu ambao na maadili. Mtu mwanasiasa akileta pesa ili kuwahonga watu ziliwe kwa sababu ameziiba, lakini asipigiwe kura. Jambo lingine ni kuhakikisha vyama vyote hasa vya Kiislamu tuhakikishe kwa kuwa lazima katika uongozi wetu kuna athad, gender moja isipite athad. Na ndio maana katika Muslim Professionals League Africa tunahakikisha at least athad lazima iwe ni gender moja, isipite gender nyingine. Kwa hivyo hilo jambo la muhimu sana. Na la mwisho, tusomesheni watoto wetu wa kike na wa kiume, na tuhakikishe kwa kuwa ndoa zetu tunazimudu, ndoa zetu tunazihifadhi. Na la mwisho kabisa, kiongozi akifanya makosa hata kama ni wa kidini ashtakiwe, afungwe jela. Sababu mimi nimesaidia, najua maimamu karibu 7 wamefungwa jela, nimesaidia hilo, na pia baadhi ya mapasta wamefungwa jela kwa kubaka na kulawiti watoto, na nimekuwa mstari wa mbele kwa kisha wamefungwa jela. Na tuhakikisha kwa kila mmoja akosea, sheria inachukua mkondo wake.
Asante Edita Cheng, sekunde 30. Ochieng radhi.
Wow, asante sana. Na pia nataka tu kurudia kitu Sheikh amesema, kwa sababu pia tunajua kuna wanawake wanaua wanaume, na hiyo ni mbaya sana. Sheria lazima ichukue mkondo wake. Na pia wakati nimekuwa nikitembelelea prisons, mara nyingi wale wanawake walikuwa wanajaribu kurevenge, na Sheikh ameongelelea hapa vizuri. Kama you are living in a relationship that is not working, please find an option. Si lazima uishi pale. Na leo hii pia nafurahia kwa sababu mimi ni ile nyuso yenye lileta watu kwa street 27th last year, kuleta watu kumarch against femicide kwa hii country. Na ilianza na wanawake wale young women kutoka kwa grassroots level, na ikakuwa mjadala kwa hii country. So pia inaonyesha tukiaccelerate hizi actions zetu zote venye tunaweza songesha mbele. Number 3, nataka kuongelelea story ya mental health, lakini sitaongelelea deeper kwa sababu pia ni kitu inatusumbua sana.
Tutaandaa na tutaweza kuzungumzia hilo katika kao tofauti.
Na ya mwisho kabisa, mwanamke akona choices, na kitu tu siwezi jivunia, it is not a success. I'm married, but it is not a success from my side, you get. So mwanamke akuna uwezo wa kuchagua whether to get married or not. We are not going to condemn women because of their choices. Exactly.
Asante. Kwa sababu muda umetupa kisogo, na natumai mjadala huu tutaupanga tena, maana hatujafika hata nusu. Tuzungumzia wanawake katika siasa na mambo mbalimbali ulivyosema, pesa na mambo mengine. Kwa hivyo tungependa kusema shukrani sana kwa msikilizaji na mtazamaji, na sana kwa wageni wangu. Asante Ambassador Esther Waringa kutoka kikundi cha wewe ni rais wa Public Service Governance. Asante kuweza kufika. Ala vile Dr. Sheikh Hassan Kinywa Omari, mwenyekiti wa Muslim Professionals League Africa, karibu. Na Edita Ochieng, mtetezi wa haki za wanawake. Nawapongeza kuweza kufika. Waelekezi wangu na vile mtayarishi Nancy Kemunto, Geoffrey Onditi, asanteni nyote na wapiga picha. Tufanye hivi wakati mwingine. Shukrani.
Wellness is important in our daily lives, so that instead of just surviving, we should be thriving.
Ways to prevent a stroke or heart attack is for you to know what conditions you have by regular checkup. People don't know they have hypertension. They don't know they have diabetes.
I was pre-diabetic. I was afraid of getting lifestyle diseases because I come from a family that has lifestyle diseases.
How do you know if your cough is due to a serious condition? We'll have some answers. Stay well
and strive to make every day a healthy day.
Friday night again. Greetings in the name of the Most High Jah Rastafari. My good name is Marley Moses, the positive warrior, alongside.
Yes, sir, DJ D-Rage, the baddest. Each and every Wednesday from 10 p.m. on KBC Channel 1 TV.
Tunakuletea the biggest reggae party in 254 in a yard extra. Extra niceness of reggae music.
Extra dose of entertainment.
When the thing is nice,
we have to do it twice.
This is Good Morning Kenya Health Check, and my name is Vivian Degwa, and our topic of conversation this morning is on dental health and hygiene. That is what we will be talking about, and joining me for that is Onesmus Githaiga. Onesmus Githaiga is a clinician and a dental health provider. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
All right, it's a pleasure to have you here. Let us begin by just getting to define, dental health and hygiene. When we talk about dental health and hygiene, what exactly are we talking about?
So these are two different things. Dental health or oral health is basically a condition of the oral cavity whereby we don't have disease or deformity. The oral cavity has several features. The tongue, the gums, the teeth, the palate, all that. If we don't have disease or deformity, we say we have good oral or dental health. Dental hygiene is basically practices that we do on a daily basis or regularly so that we can maintain the good oral health.
So they're different. Dental health and dental hygiene are different, as you've put it.
Sure.
Okay, what's the importance of maintaining good oral health overall?
Now, we go back to some epidemiology about that. There are about 3.5 billion cases of oral health diseases or people who have oral health diseases worldwide. In 2020, there was a survey, an oral health survey, where 41% of children had caries, that is decay. Almost 90% of adults had periodontal, the gum diseases, and 50% of the general population had all other dental issues. Now, it is very important to have our mouths or our oral cavity healthy because the oral cavity has several functions. Speaking as we are doing, your outlook, the smile and all that. Eating, we cannot really eat without our mouth. We have breathing. So without that, without keeping our mouth healthy, our oral cavity healthy, then some of these functions are going to be, we are not going to do it well.
From the numbers that you've just mentioned, the statistics that you've mentioned to us, it's clear that many people have dental problems. So maybe if you can speak about, on Kenya, the statistics you're giving are worldwide.
Yeah.
So when you look at Kenya, what are maybe the most common dental problems and how to prevent them?
Okay. The first is caries or caries. We call it decay. It's just decay. You find someone coming with a cavity or something on a tooth or on multiple teeth. This happens in a very big population. That's the biggest condition, oral condition out here.
Tooth decay.
Yeah, decay. This is well preventable. It is easy to prevent it because we just need a toothbrush, toothpaste, water. And brushing our teeth should be done twice a day. That is general hygiene, oral hygiene. So we do it twice a day, and then we do flossing, and then we avoid these sugary meals, these sugary foods. And then after that, after we have avoided the sugary meals, or maybe we take them closer to the main meals so that after brushing we just do away with it. So the main brushing time is in the morning and before sleep in the evening. So we do it 2 times a day, and then we do it the right way. Maybe we can, the hurry in the morning before you go to work, you do a very fast 30 seconds brush. That doesn't really help. The 2 minutes to 5 minutes brushing is what is important. All 5 surfaces of the teeth should be tackled well, and then circular motion behind there, the molar region, and then up down at the front. So all that, when we do all that, I think brushing our teeth will be very efficient. And then gargle enough water, and then avoiding alcohol and tobacco use. Yes, and cut. Yes, it also prevents caries. And then the other case that comes up, very common, very many people complain about it, is halitosis. Halitosis is just that bad breath. Get that bad breath every time. What is up? So if we get to brush our teeth well, halitosis is not a big question. And then gargling some mouthwash now and then. Yes, halitosis will, and avoiding cut, that is mirror, alcohol, cigarette use, and all that. So that prevents halitosis. It's a big thing. You sit next to someone and the mouth doesn't smell so good. Yeah, the other ones are periodontal diseases, bleeding gums. I've heard of it. At times it's a vitamin deficiency. At times we are overdoing on brushing. We are using very hard bristles, and then we are hurting our gums. So bleeding gums comes also with the brushing. At times we don't brush so well, we accumulate calculus, we infect our gums, and the cycle goes on. When we infect our gums, bleeding and all that. So all that can be done, number one, by brushing. Also, once annually, you need to visit your dental hygienist, your dentist, community oral health worker. Go get some advice, go get some checkup, and then maybe they'll scrap off something called tartar, that hard bit that maybe accumulates when we don't brush well over time. They put it away so that our gums can maybe recover.
So one is advised to go for cleaning at least once a year.
At least once a year, even if not really cleaning, check up. We could be having something that maybe we haven't recognized it yet. Maybe a small lesion, you know, it happens. Yeah.
Yeah. Do we have people who, you know, normally they say that Kenyans don't really go to hospitals until they need to go to hospital when a problem arises. So would you say, you know, as you know, working as someone who's in the dental department, do you frequently get people who just come for checkups?
Well, no. No, it's, I don't know. I don't want to say it's Kenyan, but very many people go to hospital because they are sick. You hardly find anyone coming to hospital not sick, they are just coming for a checkup. Well, it happens when, but maybe 1 in 50 or 1 in 100. On a good year, 1 in 50, or yeah. So it's a call, by the way. It's a call. Most of these diseases, or most of these things these big procedures that we do can be prevented. They say prevention is better than cure. So most of these conditions, if these people come to clinics for checkup, I mean, they realize, there is some tartar here, we can scale it off. We have this, we have that. So we can always put all those conditions away, preventing them majorly more than curing them. Yeah.
So even for someone who has no, say, dental issue as at such, you know, you still advise at least once a year, you just go for checkup, just
going,
checked.
Going and seeing that dentist, sitting down, maybe even advising you every day, you know. Knowledge is more than a lake. We can never have enough of it. We go, maybe they'll advise you about even changing your brush. People don't do that.
Yeah.
Reminds you, you know, when you see that dentist, you're like, oh, I haven't changed my brush in like, I don't know how long. I can tell you for sure, very many people don't change their brushes.
Yeah.
And it's recommended every 3 months, you change your toothbrush.
Every 3 months?
Every 3 months. It's maybe equal to a school term.
Yeah, that's a school term.
So when children are opening school, you buy a toothbrush. When they are closing, you buy another one. It's, you know, it's a checker, it's a time checker.
Yeah.
But literally we forget those nitty-gritties, which really cost us. There's a lot of dirt that can accumulate in the toothbrush.
Yeah.
And bearing in mind, most people brush their teeth just before work. And they do it in a hurry, even not really looking at the toothbrush. At times you just know the color of your toothbrush.
That's true.
Yeah, so changing that toothbrush every 3 months is really recommended. And then this toothbrush should not have really hard bristles.
I actually had a question on the type of toothbrush to use. You know, when you go to the, say, supermarket to buy yourself a toothbrush, there are those that are labeled. There are one that is written it's medium, there's another one that is written it's hard, and for the hard one it's normally recommended for people who smoke. You know, there's that statement that is written there. So if you can just talk to us about the types of brushes and the bristles, the best ones to use.
Yeah, I'll start with the very hard bristle toothbrush. You see, when we have a very hard bristle toothbrush, we tend to erode our enamel. Our enamel is the hard part of the teeth, that outer bit of the tooth. You see, when you do it repeatedly, you are going to erode the enamel. You are going to erode the enamel.
Yeah.
So we don't really advise on that.
The hard one.
The hard one.
Yeah.
You erode on the enamel. Below that is the sensitive part of the tooth.
Yeah.
When we get to brush with that hard brush every time, when we erode the enamel, it becomes okay. It will be clean, but we'll erode that whatever, and then we'll get tooth sensitivity and all that.
Yeah.
So instead of having that hard brush, I would recommend a medium bristle brush. For the soft one, people usually feel it very comfortable. It's very comfortable. It doesn't really hurt.
Yeah.
People feel, I mean, I just did something, but unfortunately, at times it doesn't get to remove all particles, and those little particles that really clinch on our teeth at times, they really clingy, so you'll not remove them. So also that soft brush isn't so good. The medium Bristol brush is most recommended, and then let it have some highs and lows, highs and lows, so that it can be able to fit between the teeth, remove the dirt between the teeth. A flat one may not really do that, essentially, but that one with highs and lows does it.
All right, so the best bristle toothbrush to use is the medium one, not the soft, not the hard ones. But the soft can be used for the little ones.
For the little ones, the little ones.
Okay, so you had spoken about halitosis, when you talked about some of the most common dental problems that we experience people experience in the country. Maybe there's someone who would argue or say that, they follow all the steps they need to take, but still that happens. Maybe what could be the problem and how far should they go into them getting checked?
Okay, it depends, number one, with what they think they're doing. At times we could think what we're doing is right. Or we could be doing right things the wrong way. For example, brushing, this halitosis majorly comes, when we have something maybe decaying or something. If we do our brushing so well, and then we gargle some mouthwash, the mouthwash, at least once a day, and then we are doing our flossing well, the dental floss. After that, and then we are doing the healthy feeding habits and taking enough of water. Water also comes in there. We shouldn't be having halitosis. But if maybe you feel it persists, you should now visit a dentist. You should visit a dentist. If maybe you think it is really persisting after you doing all that and the right way, you could be brushing your teeth at 11 o'clock and then maybe at 2 p.m. And you've done it twice a day, by the way. You've done it twice a day. And then maybe when you sleep, the bacteria starts decomposing the little chunks of ugali that were left in your mouth. And in the morning, you have halitosis. Yet you're brushing twice a day. So if we do things the right way, I think we are going to maybe get the best outcome.
All right. So you talked about one gargling their mouth, using mouthwash. Maybe what's the best ones to use? Because there are those that have, alcohol, the ones that don't have alcohol, fluoride, no fluoride, even with the toothpaste. So which ones are the best to use?
Well, let me start with toothpaste. Toothpaste with fluoride is the best. People at times argue out that these herbal brands of toothpaste, as long as it doesn't have fluoride, well, it's not recommended. At times, even some of the toothpastes we use are not standardized. Just get a toothpaste from the street. It has been written, it has I don't know what, chamomile, I don't know, charcoal. Some people, by the way, even go to the extent of using charcoal.
Is that wrong? For tooth whitening?
Very wrong.
Oh.
Because it's consistency. At times it's very hard till erode your enamel in no time. So you go find, I don't know what toothpaste, the name, I don't know what, being sold at the street somewhere. Check whether it is fluoridated, then you can use it. For the mouthwash and alcohol, well, don't use alcohol.
So for the mouthwash, you use the one that has no alcohol.
Alcohol free. Yes.
All right. Okay. So maybe just to get, if there are any misconceptions on dental health,
well,
which ones are they, and how? And I would want you to demystify them.
Well, I think they are more than even what we know.
Okay.
People have very weird beliefs out here. Starting from that one, when we were kids and we were shedding off our milk teeth, and you remember, I don't know what you'll do, some rituals, I don't know, with those milk teeth, I don't know, you'll have strong teeth. I mean, You know, it starts there.
Yeah.
And passing the right information to people is so important. So, especially parents. Then the other misconception is that maybe these teeth, the milk teeth, maybe not keeping them so well. You know, they'll still get permanent teeth, you know, they'll shed these milk teeth off.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so no.
Yeah.
The oral health is a big determiner of overall health. You know, I give you an example. I could be hosting a lot of bacteria in the mouth, and then maybe it gets, maybe the next time we have some pharyngitis, we have that sore throat. And the next moment we are having a heart infection or such. At times it goes down to your lungs. You know, general dental health is, I mean, the mouth is an entry to your body.
Yeah.
Is literally an entry to your body. So whether we have primary teeth, whether we have permanent teeth, keeping it is so crucial and so important. We don't want to be fighting rheumatic heart disease because you didn't brush your teeth. The other misconception, and we have already talked about it, is that we should get to a dentist only
when there's a problem.
I don't know even whether it's a misconception or it's already culture.
Yeah.
It's already culture, I think. Now it takes a little more effort to maybe change that from the system.
Yeah.
The other one is that if, for example, you have maybe an aching tooth, you can maybe, you know, we have very many remedies at home. Yes, we have very many remedies. Someone told me, I don't know, the leaves of, blue gum tree, I don't know, crush them, put it on the teeth.
Yeah.
I mean, what are you doing? Go to a dentist. All that is so futile, and at times we treat ourselves the placebo way, you know. I mean, you're not treating yourself, but you're telling yourself, by the way, I'm recovering. You know, that's a remedy. My friend, you're not recovering.
Yeah.
You're not. What you're doing is just lying to yourself that maybe the additive I had on my tooth, is working. It's not. It's not working. At times we even lose the whole of our tooth because of maybe we added remedies. I don't know. We did what we went to. I don't know, a herbalist. I don't know to a who. So it's high time that people looked at the importance of going to their dentist. And the final one is what we had talked about. It's about using very hard things on our teeth. As long as something is hard,
it does better cleaning.
It does better cleaning. Charcoal, I don't know what. Some people even punish their teeth really hard. I found someone who was putting a lot of salt in the mouth. I don't know how many hours. I mean, it's so painful.
Oh.
Because they don't want to have halitosis.
But does salt help?
It helps, but I mean, we shouldn't be so hard on ourselves anyway.
Yeah.
Putting salt maybe of 3 hours in your teeth, I don't know, on the surfaces of your teeth, and then staying there frowning the whole day. It doesn't help.
Yeah.
So it's good that we check on that. And the final one, the toothpick. I don't know how we call it, the toothpick. That wooden stick.
Yeah, the one that we use to pick our teeth.
Well, let's avoid that.
That should be avoided.
Yeah, totally. I mean, it's already culture also. You go to your choma zone, your favorite spot, and after your meal, you ask the waiter, "Hey waiter, I need I need toothpick," and the waiter does that generously, brings 10 of them. Choose any, and then even outside the butchery or the place, your restaurant, you live with your.
What does that do?
You know, when you're picking your teeth, you would injure your gums.
Okay.
You will injure your gums. It's so definite that you will. rather let's use dental floss. Use dental floss, it helps. Don't even use there's some sort of dental floss that has a hook. Some people now usually say, hey, now there's a toothpick and it's dental floss. Two birds, one stone. No, let's use dental floss itself. We use it slowly, we remove that, maybe that piece of meat, that piece of skuma wiki that sticks between your teeth. And then we are going to have it right here. So majorly those are the misconceptions here.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's something you mentioned, I want us to go back to it, because maybe it's something that many people don't think about, you know, general dental health and hygiene. You mentioned that it can actually cause problems, not just, you know, on your mouth or the mouth, but it can actually cause heart disease. Kindly let's get to that so that you explain further.
Okay. Normally, there's something we call normal flora. Normal flora is the bacteria that are in a place, certain place, maybe, for example, on your skin. You know, we touch surfaces every day and we don't get sick in these bacteria, like Staphylococcus aureus and all that. On your skin is okay, and they are also normal flora in the mouth. But beyond that, we get multiplication of bacteria, a lot of multiplication. We risk passing it downstream. Let me say downstream. We have maybe bacteria A. Let me not mention it. We have bacteria A. This bacteria A has lived maybe on your tooth, maybe for the last 3 days. And good to note is that bacteria replicate really fast. In minutes they are multiplying in numbers. And now the small area cannot feed them. They'll go to somewhere else. God forbid they'll go to your throat. You'll have some very weird sore throat. And from there they decide, let's go here, let's go to the maybe down the airway. We will get some bronchitis. We go to some pneumonia. Brushing your teeth. Also, they may also go to you know, the throat itself has some defense mechanism, such as the tonsils and all that produce these disease fighting agents. So they fight they fight this bacteria every now and then. But at times we overdo. The bacteria is too much. So for one reason or the other, they bypass and go to the heart. Now, when we have that, it's very common, by the way, from a sore throat and going to the heart. It's like a snap of a finger.
That's something that is common.
It's common.
Okay.
From the throat to the heart very fast. And then we are seeing a cardiologist. And now we are in a multidisciplinary panel. We have to see a dentist. We have to see a cardiologist, simply because of not brushing your teeth. Also, it may go down the GIT, the gastrointestinal tract, but that's not really harmful because we have really good defense or really good acids in the stomach that will maybe not favor this bacteria so much. Unless the major bacteria that really heat up our bellies, our stomachs, Helicobacter pylori, which are not so known to be in the oral cavity. But for the lungs, that is the respiratory system, and the cardiovascular system, we really risk them by not keeping our oral hygiene.
Oh, that's interesting. So oral hygiene plays a part in the overall well-being of someone.
I mean, if you have one toothache, people who have had a toothache before can tell you that it's not a walk in the park, and it hits you when you least expect. And then, you know, that one tooth will cause disturbance maybe for the whole night. Before you, and you know, most dental clinics are open in the morning, so you'll be the first in the line. You'll be first in line. Again, overall health, you see, recurrent infections, any recurrent infection, are a gateway to cancer. You know, there are these oral cancers. So the mouth, hygiene, if we don't really keep that, we are not even hygienic. Talking of hygiene, general body hygiene, without talking about oral hygiene, you have really watered it down. Yeah, so it's very important to brush your teeth, gargle enough water, take enough of water, and then all that goes now. Everything will set itself. Yeah.
All right, there's a question that someone had asked, and that is on electric toothbrushes. Would you recommend or not?
Well, now it also depends. There are brands that will have very hard bristles, others with soft bristles. We go with medium.
Boils down to the bristles.
Yes, and also those ridges. And then at times when you have the electric toothbrush, we tend to think, it's doing all the work for me, so I won't put enough effort. So if we can do it the manual way, the better. The better. I won't really not recommend them. I would say they are bad, but I would really say that we remove the essentiality or the need to brush our teeth well, because we think electricity is doing it for me. Yeah. Okay. So it's good that we do the right way, the manual way.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got it. Now, how does diet, affect overall dental health? I know you had talked about, sugary things that should be avoided completely. If you're looking after your dental health and hygiene, maybe just how much of diet, does how much rather does diet affect oral health, and probably what are the best foods you would recommend for better oral health?
Diet-wise, I'll start prenatally, before a child is born.
Boils down from there.
Yeah, it starts there.
Okay.
If the mother doesn't have enough of calcium intake, we risk our child not having good teeth or weak teeth. Yeah, so it starts there. You've even seen these children who maybe keep shedding their teeth, or their teeth keep breaking. Calcium is so important for the teeth. We cannot underscore the need for calcium in the diet, especially for the oral health. Calcium generally is used to have these strong bonds and all that. There is the role of other hormones in the body, maybe that could derange, like calcitonin and all that. But if we have enough of calcium, essentially, we should have strong teeth. Number two, if we take enough of water, we get the best teeth white, or the best oral cavity. One role of saliva as one major character in our mouth is, number one, lubrication. Number two, it keeps washing away bacteria every time you're swallowing saliva. So it washes away even that maybe that dirt, So if we don't take water, we have a dry mouth. When we have a dry mouth, all that is undone. So we want to lubricate. We want wash away the bacteria and the foodstuffs. And then balanced diet. I'm speaking of the carbohydrate, the protein, and the vitamin, and now the minerals like calcium, zinc, and etc. You see what happens. If, for example, we have a low vitamin diet, we have we get immunocompromised. We have a low immunity.
Yeah.
So our body won't really fight these diseases. The same with proteins. If proteins are the building blocks. You don't expect to have some regeneration. All these cells regenerate now and then. You're not eating proteins, so all that, and now the carbohydrates is just the energy giving food. For the sugary foods that I had talked about, let me call them snacks. Let me just call them snacks. For the snacks, we recommend that you have them close to the diet, the normal diet, so that when you'll be brushing, you'll brush your teeth and maybe put them away.
Yeah.
But snacking between meals, you leave a lot of sugar. And then one thing with sugar, it's good food, very good food for the bacteria. I mean, they'll not have to decompose a lot or work a lot. I mean, we are giving them the best. So, and once we give them the best, they'll give us the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. As we wind up on this conversation, maybe we can talk about grinding. There are people who grind on their teeth. You'll see someone and they're grinding on their teeth or clenching their teeth.
Yeah.
Is there an impact to that?
Yeah, okay. Grinding teeth mostly comes with some mental conditions.
Okay.
People keep grinding on their teeth maybe to get some satisfaction or something. But all that, these are rough surfaces grinding on each other. So we end up losing the enamel. We lose our enamel, we expose our dentin, and we get hypersensitive. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's not so good.
Not recommended at all.
Not really recommended.
All right. Thank you so much for that. I will allow you to now give us your final remarks on matters dental health and hygiene.
Okay. Dental health is a very important bit of our general health. If we keep it, we become healthy, literally. If we don't, we get the fruit of really not keeping it. So it's very important to keep all that, and maybe visit your dentist every now and then. If, for example, you can visit your dental health providers. Let me put it this way. Visiting your dentist is so important. It cannot be underscored. And let us keep that away. So beyond that, maybe we have toothaches and all that. Let's not do things that would maybe risk our oral health. Let us do things the right way. Maybe to the listener or to the viewer, it's maybe you can for more information. The knowledge on oral health is never enough. Maybe they can visit us in our clinics. Dental health providers is our name. In Menelik Medical Center. We also at Applewood, Adams Arcade. We at Greenhouse, still at Adams Arcade. We at Karen, along Karen Road, Karen Professional Center. And we also in Rongai. And now we have the first ever private dental hospital, the first one in Kenya and I think in East Africa, in Kitengela. Or maybe they can call 0114153466.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Yeah. It was a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you so much.
All right, that was Onesmus Geraiga, who is a clinician, dental health provider, and this is where we put a cap to today's Good Morning Kenya. Thank you so much to each and every one of you who started off the show with us and has gotten to this point. We appreciate you. We do this each and every day from Monday to Thursday. So see you tomorrow, same time and place, God willing. Goodbye.
2.5 years after key policies were planted, is Kenya reaping the benefits?
Soko watu wanalia, hawana pesa. Sasa unabidi tu unarudi na kitu yako yenye umepeleka huko kwa soko.
Can the country return to the soil and harness its agricultural potential for food security?
Shamba ukiangalia mazao hakuna. Hata hii kilimo hii matunda ni siku moja tu.
Join us on Tuesday at 9 p.m. as you speak to Agriculture PS Dr. Kiprono Rono on government's progress in filling the country's bread basket.
The Shift, Tuesday at 9 p.m. on KBC Channel 1.
Greetings in the name of the Most High Jah Rastafari. My good name is Mali Moses, the positive warrior, alongside.
Yes, sir, DJ D-Rage, the baddest. Each and every Wednesday from 10 p.m. on KBC Channel 1 TV.
Tunakuletea the biggest reggae party in 254 in a yard extra. Extra niceness of reggae music.
Extra dose of entertainment.
When the thing is nice,
we have to do it twice.
Do you want your partner to track your every move? Is that a safety measure or creepy? Installing spyware on a partner's smartphone is becoming a thing in relationships worldwide. We'll explain when that's a problem and how to protect yourself. And have you ever said thank you to your voice assistant? Treated the algorithm like a person? Kids believe assistants like Siri or Alexa feel and think like humans, according to a new study. Let's talk about why that matters. Also on the show, deepfakes are getting better and better. Yet there is no bulletproof way to identify them. Now, social media company Meta is announcing new measures, but will they work? Coming up, the topics that are moving the tech world. Living in an abusive relationship, that's a sad reality for many people, especially women worldwide. And abusive partners are increasingly using spyware on smartphones to control their love interests. So how do these apps work? How can you protect yourself? Before we dive in, let's take a look at some figures. Cybersecurity company Kaspersky conducted a survey on digital stalking in relationships. 24% of the participants say they have been stalked by a partner with the help of technology. Half of them through smartphone apps. And nearly 1 in 10 participants admitted to installing tracking apps on their partner's phone. In short, digital abuse in relationships is a massive problem. So-called stalkerware seems to be. Now, how does stalkerware work? Most spyware apps are marketed as a tool for parents to keep track of their kids, or as a monitoring app for work phones. However, they're easily misused by people to spy on their partners. Using trackers without someone's knowledge is clearly unethical. Marketing stalkerware as parental apps or anti-theft tools means there is no discussion about those apps being in the App Store. Stalkerware helps access almost everything on someone else's device. Messages, calls, contacts, pictures, and location. This app can even notify someone when the phone's owner leaves a specific area. Many apps can also access the phone's microphone or camera at any given time. To install them, the abuser needs physical access to the victim's phone. Once installed, these apps do a pretty good job of hiding themselves. They don't send out any alerts or notifications. There is no app icon. Stalkerware is often disguised as harmless system apps. So, how can we spot stalkerware? Here are 3 red flags to watch out for. 1. Keep an eye out for unusually high battery and data usage. Stalkerware apps run in the background, consuming battery and sending data to the abuser. 2. Watch out for unusual actions on the smartphone, such as random GPS activations or slow performance. 3. If you notice echoes or strange noises during calls, that could be a sign that someone is listening in. And in general, trust your instincts. A common sign that you're being monitored could be a change in the abuser's behavior. They may know too much about your activities without any other explanation. It can also be helpful to keep a journal of what you're experiencing. This makes it easier to detect patterns of abuse. Now, how to protect yourself against stalkerware? In general, be aware that those apps exist. Protect your smartphone with a password and don't let it fall into the hands of others. Remember, abusers need physical access to install spyware apps. If you suspect that your device has been compromised, change the passwords for all of your accounts. A short-term solution might be to activate airplane mode to stop the data from being sent. Look through your installed apps in the settings to see if you find anything unusual, or check which apps can access your location, microphone or camera. If none of that helps, reset your phone to default settings. But keep in mind that the abuser will notice if you delete the spyware app and might escalate their behavior. So you may want to keep the app at first and think about an alternative device that you could use to get help. If you're feeling unsafe in your relationship, visit this website to find out where to turn to. Stay safe.
أنا محترف منذ 22 عاماً.
Soccer star Cristiano Ronaldo speaking perfect Arabic. That's fake. AI-powered image generators are rapidly improving. Therefore, very convincing deepfakes are more and more common on social media. That makes it very hard for us to distinguish real from fake. And that's a huge problem worldwide, especially when it comes to elections. Now, Meta has announced it will label AI-generated content starting in May. How is that supposed to work? And will this save us from being lied to? Let's take a look. Deceivingly real. Fact is, a lot of the time, generative AI is already good enough to deceive our eyes. And with new tools, AI-generated content will get better very quickly. Already a lot of AI content is shared on social media. So far, the platforms have not taken significant steps to detect AI fakes. Now, Meta has announced they will label AI-generated content on Facebook, Instagram, Threads. This will include images, videos, and sound. Labeling AI, how does that work? Meta makes detecting AI sound pretty easy. We will begin labeling content as made with AI when we detect industry-standard AI image indicators. In theory, it could work like this. Generative AI developers add watermarks to content generated with their models. That means whenever a user creates something using these engines, there is a watermark in the file's metadata. When users upload content, special algorithms can check for these watermarks and label the final post as made with AI. Seems pretty straightforward. Other companies like Google have been experimenting with this method as well. But there's more than one catch. All content would need to be scanned and all watermarks found. What's more, not all AI engines use watermarks, and these watermarks are very easy to remove. So if you want to share misleading images, basic digital tools are enough to circumvent meta scans. You could just take a screenshot of an AI-generated image, and the metadata will have no watermark. Apart from that, Meta's visual labels can easily be cropped. So, AI labeling is not the solution to our deepfake conundrum. Meta's initiative seems pretty immature, to say it politely. What else is there? Detecting AI with AI. Others are taking a different approach. They are using AI to detect AI images. Some companies are training their algorithms to detect details that escape the human eye. This can include technical details like pixels in an image or suspicious sequences in videos. This strategy is a lot more likely to succeed than Meta's, but there's a downside too. AI image generators are evolving incredibly fast, so developers of AI detectors have to update their algorithms all the time. Looks like we don't have a reliable mechanism that could protect us from falling for AI images or deepfakes. Why are deepfakes so dangerous? They are increasingly used to spread political misinformation worldwide. In this super election year, 2024, they are posing a threat to fair elections in huge countries like India, Mexico, and the US. In the latter, several deepfake videos of President Joe Biden have surfaced recently. The material seems to aim at making the US president look unfit for office. In this one, he falsely mentions that Kiev has been occupied by Russian troops for 10 years already.
Free Kiev from Russian occupation. which has lasted for 10 years.
In another, he's supposedly looking at dementia books. Both videos have been analyzed by international fact-checkers and were identified as definitely fake. Nowadays, almost anything can be faked convincingly with AI technology. Images, videos, and sound. That's why we should always be cautious when we're consuming news online and ask ourselves if what we see or hear could be manipulated. Even when the information matches our beliefs, especially when it's presented in an emotional way. Stay vigilant. Have you ever said, "Thanks, Alexa," or "You're great, Siri"? With AI voice assistants, it's easy to treat them like humans. And studies show that kids believe voice assistants have feelings. So, what does it mean when the line between human and AI gets blurry? Does Alexa have feelings? As voice assistants are becoming more and more common, children worldwide are interacting with them on a regular basis. A research team from Scotland asked kids aged 6 to 11. They found that roughly 2/3 of them believe the systems think as we do or even have feelings. Younger children even said that if their Alexa breaks down, it wouldn't be right to throw away the device. When asked if Alexa could feel left out in conversation, more than 80% of the kids aged 10 to 11 answered yes. The researchers don't assume that this will harm the kids' cognitive development, but they do stress that there's a huge risk of children overestimating the reliability of AI systems. They might make bad decisions based on the answers they get from Siri and others. Human-like design. Generative AI like ChatGPT is evolving at high speed, and this has led to voice assistants becoming much more human-like.
Alexa, let's chat.
What's on your mind? Developers are putting a lot of effort into making conversations with voice assistants as seamless as possible. Because the easier the communication, the more time we're likely to spend with those assistants. And the more time we spend with them, the more of our precious personal data we hand over. But machines and software that appear too lifelike could become a big problem in the future. Adults can be tricked too. In July 2022, a software engineer was working on Google's conversational AI system called Lambda. He claimed that the software had become sentient. Sentient means being able to feel or sense things. It's often regarded as the most basic form of consciousness. In a chat, Lambda had produced the following text. The nature of my consciousness is that I'm aware of my existence. I desire to know more about the world and feel happy or sad at times. Creepy. The software engineer cited this and other examples as proof that the AI system had developed a conscience. That's not the case, of course. As good as AI chatbots have become, they can't be compared with sentient beings. They are rather just very advanced autocomplete tools. But it's true that when communication with these chatbots runs smoothly, we tend to trust their responses much more than a simple Google search. According to research, users find ChatGPT's responses to be of higher quality than Google's. Fact is, AI chatbots make mistakes, so trusting them more than other digital tools is not a good idea. Apart from that, the Lambda story shows that it's not just kids who need more education when it comes to artificial intelligence. The researchers in Scotland are calling for what they call AI literacy. They want AI to be discussed in schools, and they want developers to make sure their AI products don't mislead children or adults. So how about you? Do you have human-like interactions with Alexa or other voice assistants? Or are they just tools you use? Let us know. That's it from us. See you soon.
Are you a talented artist? Or are you passionate about a topic you want to discuss? But money can be very hard to find for an upcoming artist. Don't worry, Studio Mashinani has got your back. Sign Sign up on ajira.co.ke to book a session with our music and video producers across the country. Work on your music, jingles, spoken words, and even podcasts to realize your dream. All for free. Studio Mashinani, Radani Talent.
Two and a half years after key policies were planted, is Kenya reaping the benefits?
Soko watu wanalia, hawana pesa.